and Europe. But now in Britain, we've got somewhere along the lines of 1 million kids between 16 to 25 unemployed and not in education. And that's something like 1 in 5, 20% of that age demographic. So I think, or what I want to ask is not what is best, but what is more likely. Do you think the growing role of AI in our society is causing children to find, not children, but young adults to find work? Because it's, you
No,
know,
I actually
or-
think that the. Sorry, were you finished?
No, continue, please.
The United Kingdom is very different. It's engineered itself into a very difficult position by bad government policy, and this is where Paranoid does have a great point. The UK has by essentially increasing the amount of government approval for projects, increasing government intervention, increasing they've made it very difficult for brass tacks businesses to actually operate in the United Kingdom and to undertake infrastructure. For instance, the average time it takes to approve a public construction in the UK is 5 to 8 years or something like that. And so there are some well-intentioned, I think, policies, but the UK has wrapped itself up in red tape to the point where its markets just aren't competitive, and I think that's what's driving the economic stagnation of the UK and the eye-watering unemployment rates. That said, I'm not from the UK, and I've not made a deep study.
I don't know. What do you think?
Did he click out? Okay. Tony, I think you froze. If you can hear me, we'll give him a second to come back. Okay, we got you.
Okay, sorry. Was that? I think that AI hasn't really kicked in yet.
Paranoid, what do you think?
I just have to piggyback on that. I think that if socialism could have one tagline, well-intentioned, that would be like the best tagline for socialism. Like, well, we had the best of intentions. So I really don't think that there was a strong argument made that socialism is the answer here. I think that Tony made some great observations. Like, yes, the AI is going to cause all of this displacement without question. But I'm failing to see the ... therefore socialism required.
Well, as I alluded to there, 20% of that age demographic is now unemployed and not in education. So we're now on welfare, and welfare isn't universal basic income. But that's where I think this is going in the UK. I've got another question. First to you, Paranoid, do you think technology is a more powerful social force than freedom?
Then what?
Than freedom.
Freedom.
No, definitely not. I think freedom would supersede all other forces. Because freedom is the first requirement for everything else to be able to operate freely in that system, right? I'm a very strong believer that it goes First Amendment and then Second Amendment, because you have to have freedom first and foremost, and then you got to have guns to back up the freedom. Like they're written in the order that you're supposed to practice them.
PhD Tony, do you think technology is a more powerful social force?
I think it depends. I think the fundamental element of a society requires a limitation on antisocial behavior. A society cannot. There are limits on how antisocially you can behave and still be considered a member of society. And technology does play a role in identifying and holding accountable people who are antisocial. Now that can be taken to extreme levels. The Chinese Communist Party, for instance, with social credit, etc. they're an authoritarian government. They're not a socialist government. But the idea that owning long arms is somehow a protection against a government that has tanks and drones, I think that that's just unrealistic. Society relies on attention. You have some liberty, but as soon as your liberty ends at my nose, right? So as soon as you start having a negative impact on the people around you, your liberties get curtailed. So it's not just a question of freedom, it's a question of social versus antisocial and balancing those tensions.
I think that sorry.
Carry on. No, carry on.
I think that technology is a more powerful social force. We saw with the advent of the automobile, there was no turning things back, and that changed our social system. The same with computers, the same with the smartphone. The more pervasive technology is in our society, our freedoms do roll back. And if technology is a more powerful social force than human freedom, and I know, Paranoid, you don't agree with that, but then I think that technological dystopia does await us. And I'd like to, sorry, I know I said that was my last question, but I would like to just make one more question to Paranoid. Paranoid, have you heard of Roko's basilisk theory?
Yeah, absolutely. That's basically where you say, like, I trust you, AI. I want to help you, because when the AI goes back and reads your chat history from 20 years ago and it finds out you were anti-AI, then you're the first on the chopping block. So Rocco's basilisk is almost like the AI version of Pascal's wager, right? It's like, be nice to the AI so that AI lets you go into heaven instead of sending you to hell. And let me just point out a great question you had between like the freedom versus technology, because neither of those exist in a vacuum. And even your example of the car being this new technology, well, the car was incredibly successful in the US, but part of that was the car culture and the open roads and being able to drive long distances in this huge national interstate system that we had. It was kind of unheard of elsewhere. That was another large part of that. It was the freedom of the open road, which then incentivized using that technology. So they're kind of symbiotic, the way that both of those things would operate. The same way that technology can enhance the amount of freedom that you have, but maybe you can't develop that technology without having the freedom to develop it, right? So it's almost like a chicken and egg quandary.
Can I just say that I think Roko's basilisk, that online thought experiment, that proposition, that's the reason why I do not think the AI requires a post-capitalist society, because I don't know, I'm not sure when the advent of AI is. I mean, I know we could get into Turing and McCarthy, what they thought in the 50s. I don't want to conceptually brood on AI. However, if you are aware of that thought experiment that proposes that in the future, for example, a super intelligent AI could be created that would have the ability to manipulate the past to reward and punish us in order to ensure its own creation. That, to me, that is brain bending. And so I think AI does not require a post-capitalist system, and I'm not exactly sure when and where the advent of AI will emerge.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have AI, but I will just make a note on Paranoid's point there, that the highway system that was built in the US that facilitated that travel was actually funded by having a top marginal tax rate in excess of 90% at the time that it was built. That was when a lot of dams and infrastructure in the United States were built that the United States can now no longer afford to maintain, let alone extend, because its ability to because it had become unwilling to tax the wealthy and the wealthy and corporations.
Well, and the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 might have had a little bit to do with that as well, but.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you, Caledonian. Let's go ahead and move on. LLM Degrader, your question to either Paranoid, Tony, or both.
Thank you. And thank you all for putting this on.
Mhm.
Okay, I get one question, to be clear.
Generally, yeah, like a
Okay.
question or two, like no more than 5 minutes
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, yeah, all right, I have to pick. All right, I have one question for Tony.
Mhm.
I was curious if you think that there is some conceivable job class where that job relies mainly on AI to perform its tasks. So such that the worker's primarily not thinking about the tasks that the AI is completing underneath. Could something like that exist? Like say, maybe not now, but in like the near future, like 3 to 5 years.
I'm not sure I completely understand the question, because sort of the human input, human control of AI doesn't require the human to be that deeply involved in the problem per se.
Yeah,
That's the whole point of AI.
it can be kind of like a very plain interpretation of what I'm saying. Like, could there be a job where maybe even like the computer is almost abstracted away from the human? The human maybe talks to the computer, and through that they're talking to this AI, and they can complete an entire job through this set of interactions and get a salary through that.
Well, I mean, but so in order for the person's input into the system to be valuable, it has to be the case that either no one else can do that more cheaply, or no computer system can do that. And my argument would be that there just aren't enough of those sort of oversight jobs. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think these oversight positions was what Paranoid was suggesting that everybody would be able to do. Everybody would be, all of those people who do data entry now would essentially be doing oversight on AI systems that were doing data entry. But you're not going to get paid unless the work needs doing. So you can't just say we're going to do more work now. Work doesn't drop out of the sky. You can only do the work that people are willing to pay for. Yes, I think that those oversight jobs are going to exist. I just don't think there are going to be many of them. And I think that the people who aren't filling those are just going to get sacked as surplus to requirements. That's certainly my experience of how corporations have behaved in the past, and I don't see why it would be any different in the future.
Okay. Yep, not a setup or anything. I'm genuinely curious.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for answering.
Thank you. Mr. Tom Carpenter, also known as Jax's friend, your question to either of them, please.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say Kraut's looking really good tonight.
Kraut, you look beautiful.
The other thing is Paranoid. I want you to know I'm not here for you. I'm not here for you, but the lightning's still going to get you. But I am here to ask PhD Tony a question. So here's my thought. I wonder, well, I don't want to assume anything. Are you familiar with Microsoft Excel?
Yes.
Okay, so Microsoft Excel is one of the most widely used applications in the world. About 1.3 billion people use it worldwide, or at least have a license for it, whether they use it or not. But the interesting thing is that if you go back to 1980, at that point in time, we had around 1.5 million people that you could loosely categorize into a job role that you might call number cruncher. And that was worldwide. And today we have somewhere closer to 70 million people that you would put in that exact same category. Interestingly, that is with the advent of VisiCalc, Lotus 123, Excel, and all of the other spreadsheets that came along over the decades that automated number crunching significantly. I mean, no one would, if you did it back in the 80s like we did, and then you do it today, and just with Excel, no one would question that you can do it 100 times faster today. And yet there are a magnitude of times more people employed in that job role. So wouldn't you say that's a really good example of automation or making things faster, ending up resulting in more jobs because we see a new demand because we have the potential to fill it? And a lot of times the reason we don't have more people doing things is simply because we can't fill the full potential that's available to us.
I would agree that that's an example, but the advent of computerization led to a significant increase in productivity, and then people were able to do more, and this actually to some extent helped Ronald Reagan out because it concealed the fact that trickle down economics is bullshit. It doesn't work. But your central point is correct, but at base, I don't see that. For instance, a person working now on a data entry, where are their jobs going to be? Like you say, here's this task, here's this automation. We can now handle larger data sets. We can now handle, more complicated, multi-dimensional data sets, and we can process and we can filter them out. How much more efficient can that get? And how much more of that do we need done? And I don't see that we need a tenfold increase in processing data sets as AI promises. I do take your point, but I don't see that that's going to soften the blow of us losing 10% of our I just don't see how those people are employable. And maybe that's my fault. You're right. This could be my myopia. I could just be lacking the imagination to see into the future how this can work out. And that could just be my limited vision, my limited understanding, and everything could work out. But I would argue that even so, we should be moving to AI, because to a collective ownership of capital. And the reason that I say that is not just because of the outstanding social problems that I briefly discussed in my presentation, but because of the situation in the US, where the wealthy are exerting an undue and corrupting influence on your regulating mechanisms. Your Supreme Court, your Congress, and your presidency are being, it appears to me, corrupted by an overly powerful media that serves corporate interests, and by just direct corruption of money flowing into the system. And if you have an AI company that gets more and more personal information on people, the pattern that I identified during the discussion of, in AI, you tend to have lots of competitors at the start, then they all fall away and you're left with one. If that is a private corporation that has all of your search history, that has all of the questions you've ever asked your AI, that has so much personal information about you, how you're likely to vote, how it is best to impact you, and that is under the control of a private corporation. And I don't trust Paranoid doesn't trust the government with that much data. I don't trust private corporations with that much data, particularly in a democracy that is stressed the way the US is stressed.
I can appreciate that. I do want to say, though, anyone who thinks that the government's not already using AI, it's just called machine learning. It's not called local language model or large language models. They've been using AI to figure out how to manipulate you for well over 20 years. So yeah. that's not going to be anything new. But what I would say is, I think that, first of all, I'll respond to what you've said. It sounds like then that AI is just another reason for getting socialism, which you desire. So it's not the main thing, but it's another reason. And the real desire is you prefer socialism over capitalism, and AI is another reason for that. But the comment that I'll leave with, and then you can say whatever you want. Well, first of all, I need to say that I came in as OG Thunderbite tonight, Sarah, because that was for Ioton, because she didn't know who in the world I was in Discord.
Aw.
So I thought I'd let her see it on the screen, and so she would know I am the original gamertag Thunderbite, the first one in history from the 1980s. Thank you very much. And all the other Thunderbites are fakes and frauds. So here's the comment that I'll leave you with. I think that one of the reasons we are challenged, we find it hard. So my job, my responsibility is to continually look into the future and predict what knowledge people need. That's basically the role that I play, and in a specific knowledge domain, but that's what I do. And so having to do that, I have to spend a lot of time thinking about what's coming and what's next. And what I've learned is it's better not to look at a data analyst. It's better to say, what is the output of a data analyst that we desire? And when you begin to change your perspective to that, then you start to see where the opportunities are for new job roles, for new skills, for new tasks that we're going to need people to perform, because it's not about moving fingers across keyboards. It's about the end objective that we desire. And then we ask, if we can get more of that output, what could we do with that? And a perfect example is the more data you can get into your system, the faster you can get it in, the better AI can work for you and do more things for you. So I think there's a lot of potential for jobs created from this. I think all of us are struggling right now to see exactly what those will be. But I personally just have a hard time, having studied history of technology, believing that this one's going to be any different. Now, I'll just leave it there and let you respond.
Okay. Well, I do take your point. My concern is that my concern is that the jobs that are being created are highly skilled jobs, and I don't want a system, jobs that require a lot of training or a lot of intellectual agility in order to do. And we're losing a lot of jobs where the people who hold them don't have those skills. And so those jobs that are being created aren't going to be suitable for the people who are losing their jobs. That's my concern. If the jobs that are created are unskilled jobs that any data entry person can just slip over to that job, that's fine. My concern is that those new jobs that are being created are actually going to have a high threshold to enter in terms of skill sets or in terms of intellectual ability. And a lot of the jobs we're losing, they're not that. So that's my concern about that. But as I concede, like you could be quite right. This could be a storm in a teacup, and I'm concerned over nothing. That would still make socialism we have some stresses on our modern society where a lot of influence and a lot of power is very, very localized into the wealthy. And I don't see why any one person or one family, under any circumstances, ever needs more than $200 million. Like, I don't see why we tolerate the existence of billionaires. They have no right to have that much money while people are starving, right? That's just morally wrong. And so we need to go. Clay, I can see you talking, but you're muted. So is that for your benefit?
No, everybody has to stay muted. He's doing what he knows.
All right. Anyway, so I do feel that there are social ills at the moment that can only be addressed if we move to a socialist system. But I also know that everybody has been programmed to say socialism is bad, socialism is evil, socialism is authoritarian. We socialize a lot of our systems, and in the rest of the world we socialized healthcare, and you guys don't seem to have gotten the memo, and it's costing you a truck ton of money. Like it's really costing you a lot. And unnecessarily so. It's simply because you don't like the word socialism. Mm-hmm. It seems irrational.
Can I just write?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I know you wanted to. Go ahead.
I think that OG Thunder, the original Thunderbite from the 80s, and everyone else is a fake, But like rightfully pointed out, that the top of this debate could have been the rise of AI means we all need to be vegetarian. The rise of AI means we all need to buy Taylor Swift's new album. The rise of AI, like it was just using AI as a vehicle to then shoehorn in a predisposed bias that we already had, regardless of what the argument was going to be, right? That seems abundantly clear at this point.
Well, given that you changed the terms of the argument in your last debate, I'll accept you as the subject matter expert on that. But actually, I think that the fact that, as I have maintained several times throughout this, the idea that 10% of the population is at risk of losing their jobs with no immediate replacement for them is a very direct driver towards a socialized system that we have not previously faced. You can either internalize that statement or not. If you're not going to internalize it, the least you can do is shut up about your inability to internalize it.
Well, I thought we all just heard you concede that you might have been wrong about that, and that rightfully data entry has expanded in the amount of jobs it's providing, not reduced. So didn't you just concede that, and now you're going back on your concession?
The concession of uncertainty is not a concession of error.
Okay.
And the fact that you don't understand what uncertainty and error are in this context tells me quite a bit about you.
All right, let's move it on to Ant. Ant, your question or comment to either or both, please.
Well, what I haven't really heard brought up, and why I don't think that we need to fear LLMs coming in and replacing all these jobs you think are going to vanish when, you know, because as a result of more adoption of LLMs, is the fact that they hallucinate. And if you're not an expert in that field, it's very unlikely you'll even spot the hallucinations, because
Yes.
you won't have the knowledge to identify them. So LLMs, great tool for removing a lot of redundant tasks or quickly accessing information. But as far as running a field, I don't think so.
Yeah, but again, it's not the experts or the highly intelligent, highly qualified people that I'm worried about. I'm worried about low-income people who aren't highly qualified, whose jobs are repetitive and whose jobs are mundane.
But as others have pointed out,
I'm worried about those people losing their jobs and the effect that and the knock-on effects that 10%, potentially 10 to 20% of the population in a reasonably short span of time having their jobs evaporate and not having the skills to move to new jobs.
We've seen this, but as others have pointed out, we've seen this with every disruptive technology. This isn't new.
Really?
And the market will adapt.
Did 10 to 20% of people work on horses?
I don't know the numbers from the 1800s on buggies and stagecoach hands and couriers and all that other stuff. I'm sorry, I don't have that number.
It wasn't 10 to 20%.
I don't know what it is.
Less than that.
It's not the point. It doesn't really matter. It
does matter because
no, it really doesn't.
It really does, and I'll explain.
It really
why.
doesn't, because we're not comparing. I'm not comparing to like just the introduction of the automobile. It's like there's numerous introductions of technology over the last 150 years.
Such as?
How about the World Wide Web? That put some of humans' knowledge in our hands.
Put out of work? Who lost their job because of the World Wide Web?
I don't know.
Was the
libraries?
World Wide Web?
Libraries, librarians probably suffered.
Actually, how many libraries did close down?
I don't know.
They're government funded, aren't they?
I mean, they're publicly funded, or they're funded by universities who maintain their own library. So I'd be very surprised indeed if libraries did in fact close down.
I don't think they closed down.
And again, how much of the population works in libraries?
But this isn't the point.
But it is. But it
the point is that you need experts. You didn't. This regardless of the point. This is a side point. You already talked about. I asked a question about LLMs hallucinating and how they cannot replace people in that field. They become a valuable tool in that field, but they aren't a replacement for people in that field. I'm sorry we got sidetracked on another topic. I just brought it because it was kind of relevant, but we've already gone over it.
My,
I heard your answer before.
My response was that it's not people who are experts whose jobs I'm worried about. Though apparently, if Paranoid gets his way, I should be worried about that because they won't. There's no possible economic incentive for them to spend 5 or 10 years acquiring their expertise. So they're going to go extinct after a generation. But it's the low-skilled people who cannot easily shift. You're talking about
why can't they easily shift? If they're low-skilled labor, that typically means that they're young people. They can easily be educated and retrained for their jobs.
No. What are the jobs?
Any other jobs? The jobs are going to go away. There's going to be work that needs to be done that can't be done by a computer.
But there are people working in those jobs already, right? We have 4%. You have 4% unemployment. This means that there are.
Granting you if they lose their jobs at all.
I think you're underestimating.
Why would they keep their jobs?
Most data entry people are ride or die. They're like, I'm going to be data entry until the day I die or else. Like they're not going to change into another.
What are the jobs that
I don't even know why you
to
bring up data entry, considering, yes, maybe for digital to digital or logistic integration, LLMs could do really, really well. But a lot of data entry is taking physical records and putting it into a logical system.
And
an LLM can't do that. Yeah, exactly.
Can't they? You can't digitize it.
You can
can't recognize. They can't recognize
that
text.
still requires labor. It's an LLM is a logical construct. There's no arms and legs.
This is this is like when you call customer service and you get a fucking machine. And do you know how often I throw shit at a fucking wall because the computer can't understand what the fuck I'm saying, even though I've said my birthday in 10 different variations and blah, blah, blah. It's very frustrating, by the way. I'd much rather call a fucking human.
You'd much rather call a human. But do the corporations care that you'd much rather talk to a human?
They do when I start yelling representative, 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 and then finally the system shuts down. It's like, I'm transferring you to a person.
And how many phone operators are still losing their job? So
and people with substitute products that have better customer support will get their business because people get fed up with being treated crappy by one company. They'll move over to the other. Competition resolves a lot of these problems you're bringing up. Which ironically, you don't have in a socialist system. There's only one firm making anything.
That's a mischaracterization of socialism.
No, it's not. It is not. It is how socialism works.
No,
it's not.
Well, and in all fairness, so Tony, hold on, because you just said about how there shouldn't be people with billions of dollars while other people are starving, right? But in a capitalist society, that competitive nature between companies allows somebody to have the incentive to become the billionaire. That's why they integrate, incorporate, become new systems, find better ways, and want
and become a bunch of companies so that they don't have any competitors anymore.
But my thought process here is, in a socialist version of that society, what am I competing for if we're all just going to have the same amount of money, or I'm not allowed to hit beyond a certain amount?
You're not all going to have the same amount of money. Where'd you get that from?
Well, where's the competition?
Your money, comrade.
If you're saying I shouldn't be allowed to be a billionaire, right? Then why? What's my motivation? If I'm just going to be capped out at a number, then I have no reason to compete after I hit a number. It's like the participation trophy that everybody gets.
So $200 million isn't enough for you to live on.
It doesn't matter. What's the motivation?
But what's your business? How much I fucking make? If I earned it legally, what's your business?
So I don't see that anybody should have.
I don't care what you see. Like, why is it your business how much I make?
It's not how much you make, it's how much wealth you have. There's a distinction between the difference. Do you understand the difference? If you don't understand the difference, then
okay. So are your problem is income or how much you're worth?
It's wealth.
Okay, so you're having a problem with how much someone's worth. Your problem is that they have been successful and accumulated things for themselves and their family to pass on, and I'm really failing to see the problem here.
The problem is
those people with that amount of wealth also provide a very large amount of jobs to others outside of there. So if you shut down a person's ability to keep going, well, guess what? What is their motivation to hire more people or diversify and create more jobs around?
Have I been muted the entire time? So, hang on, is this 2-on-1, or am I going to get to respond at some fucking point to something that somebody said?
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. In the 1950s, the top marginal tax rate in the United States was 91%. That is to say, people in the top income bracket were having 90% of that money taken away by the government. Did the United States become a communist hellscape in the 1950s? No. Was the government able to afford a massive program of infrastructure construction in the 1950s? Yes. So the idea that if you tax basically 100% of income above a certain level, some people are all of a sudden going to go, fuck it, I don't need to do this anymore. That is demonstrably not true. We have historical examples of economies, the American economy, existing and functioning quite well in spite of extremely high taxation on the rich. The claim that you have to lower taxes on the rich in order to so that they can become wealthier, so that they can employ more people, that's a myth. It doesn't work. I showed the level of wealth that is the level of national wealth that is currently under the control of the wealthiest 10%.
Who said anything about lowering taxes?
Yeah, you said you said basically like, why are there billionaires? They shouldn't be allowed to have that much money when it has nothing to do with taxes.
Well, can't I tax wealth?
No,
we're
you
talking
can't.
about taxes.
Yes, I can. You'll find
it doesn't work.
You'll find that the government can indeed tax wealth.
Elon Musk worth? How much is Elon Musk worth? Like, did you just get like valued at like $1 trillion? Do you think Elon Musk has $1 trillion available to just pay your wealth tax?
Even if it's computerized money. Why should he have it? And why should the government?
It's computerized. It's because it's just paper wealth. It's what he's evaluated at. It's not what he actually has on him. He doesn't have access to that amount of money.
Yeah, then he's going to have trouble paying his share of taxes, isn't he?
That's ridiculous. You're making a criminal out of him for what? Being more successful than you?
No,
That sounds like sour grapes to me.
I'm making a criminal out of him because he's a criminal.
These are two topics that usually get struggled with when socialism comes up. It's liquidity.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I think he answered my question, and I think I'm done. Wait till the panel.
Yeah. Final thought to Paranoid, then we'll move on to Kraut.
Just that we're talking liquidity, right? Like, because someone's got worth $200 million doesn't mean that they go to the bank and pull $200 million out and they go and spend it, right? So it's not that difficult of a concept. And then if you've got somebody that wants to create a larger endeavor, let's say you wanted to put together a large AI data center, or you want to put out a new arena. If that arena costs $201 million, and that you just never get to do that, you don't get to work on certain projects that cost $201 million, it feels very arbitrary.
No. So in a socialized system, let's imagine, and there are multiple ways of doing it, but let's say that we tax all of the wealthy, we put it in an investment fund. You have a business idea. You go to the investment fund. You present your business idea. The investment fund says, you know what, that looks like it's a worthwhile thing to do. We'll release funds to help you set up the business. How is that? So you'll claim that large high cost investments simply won't happen. That's simply untrue. There are mechanisms by which it can.
Because that money that I'm asking for the investment fund, that was my money that they took from me, and now I'm asking them to give it back to me so that I can go and do a project. That's nonsensical.
But the two, you don't seem to understand the central problem here.
I know I don't.
Is that capitalism has become, and I explain the mechanism by which this works. private investment is a form of taxation on the population at large. We are being paid less and we are paying higher prices and we are suffering more externalities in the form of pollution and infrastructure degradation in order that people who are already rich can be paid more than market interest on their money. So we are being taxed by rich people to make rich people richer. This is unjust. You may not agree that it's unjust. You may say, well, they're wealthy. They deserve to tax us at this rate. They deserve to pay us lower wages and to make us work harder because, their forebears did whatever. Or they happen to have won the lottery a couple of times, which is effectively what Elon Musk did. He's not fucking Iron Man. He happened to be sitting in the seat when two of his companies were bought out by other companies, and then they got rid of him because his management sucks. The fact that he won the lottery twice, invested it in overvalued companies. In order to be worth its market cap, Tesla would have to sell more EVs than are sold worldwide. In order to meet its market cap, SpaceX needs $30,000 from every man, woman, and child in the civilized world, right? Every internet user needs to pay SpaceX $30,000 in order to justify its capex. That's not realistic. It's a fraud. Elon Musk is worth trillions of dollars because he has defrauded the economic system, right? The numbers just don't fucking make sense when you look at them. And the fact everybody is here, why does Elon Musk deserve to have his money taken off him? He deserves it because he goes out and he hypes shit and then never fucking delivers on it. Do you remember we'll be on Mars by 2024? Do you remember we'll have hourly fucking rockets from New York to Dubai by 2025? Do you remember all of these bullshit promises that he came out and ladled you with? And his stock still goes up and up and up and up and up because suckers. And let's look at the SpaceX IPO. The SpaceX IPO was largely retail driven, and those retail investors, which is to say mum and dad investors, they were blocked from selling off the stock once they bought it for a period of 30 days. And he was guaranteed that your super funds, your 401ks, had to buy into his IPOs. He has taken all of this money from everyday people, and the actual wealthy people have stood back and said, well, he's wrong. That's not worth anything. But average investors, average mum and dad investors have bought into this fucking fraud, this Ponzi scheme, and nobody gives a damn. Well, I do give a damn. I think it's unrealistic. I think it's unethical, and I don't think it should happen. And I think the private investors ought to be protected from this bullshit rather than being thrown into a wood chipper like they are now.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Kraut. Kraut, your question or comment, sir?
Hey, what's up? So I got a question, just to make clear where both these panelists stand at. Tony, do you feel AI would be a replacement to the working people, basically?
Yes. For a large portion of the workforce, I don't think that...
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. It's just a question to get your clarity on your stance. Paranoid, do you feel AI can be used as a tool for the American people?
Yeah, I don't think it replaces so much as it gives that person that used to swing a hammer a nail gun. That's the way that I see it.
Oh, yeah. So I would agree with Paranoid. Now, like Paranoid stated, there needs to be structures to make sure it doesn't overly take. And an example of how it could be argued that could happen, but I wouldn't agree with it, is all these electronic registers at Walmart. But, who wants to be a cashier anyway? To Paranoid's point, these AI tools can help people get a better job so they don't work as a cashier. Am I strongman or strongman, Paranoid?
I believe, yeah, their job becomes now they maintain the thing that does their old job, and technically they have a higher job now because they're like a manager of AI employees. I mean, I know it's
Right, it's like
abstract, but that's the way
using-
that I see it. It's upward mobility. They're actually now have a better job than the one that got replaced.
I got you.
Well,
It's
can
like,
I-
you know, yeah. So I basically yield my time, but I do just want to say one more thing. I see people in the chats are making fun of my photo. I identify as a loving housewife, so leave me alone.
Okay. Well, can I? So
Yeah, go
so,
ahead.
but your argument makes no economic sense. So you're investing in the hardware for the AI, you're investing in the energy for the AI, and then you've still got a person that you're paying just as much. So you're paying more for this work. Who's covering the cost? Is it your customers that are covering the cost? So you have to increase your customers to cover your hardware, to cover your supervision, and to pay for this person. Corporations don't do that. If the person is not useful, they'll sack the person. They don't feel an obligation to keep people employed just because it would be mean to unemployment. If a corporation can operate with the hardware and without the person, they're going to do that. So the idea that you're going to keep the person and you're going to pay them just as much, nobody's losing any income, but we're also going to pay for the hardware and the energy cost of the AI. You've got money coming out of nowhere. Where is this extra money coming from to cover all of this cost?
I'm thinking of a practical example. If I go to my grocery store or I go to the Walmart in my community, when I go to checkout now, there's a self-checkout area that's got like another 8 to 12 self-checkout, and it's manned by like 1 or 2 people as opposed to 12 people, right? So it's not like they got rid of all the other checkouts and replaced them with just self-checkout. Now it's all those checkouts where you can just be 1 person per checkout, or I can go to the self-checkout that has 12 counters and only 2 people supervising. So they've actually added more.
No, you've gone from 14 people being employed to 4.
No.
Right? If you've got 2 men, so they've increased the number of they've just broadly increased the number of checkouts.
Correct. That's exactly what happened. Yes.
Okay.
It was additive.
All right. And what were the economic circumstances behind that decision?
To get more people checked out quicker. So now people would be more inclined to shop there, knowing I'm not going to stand in line for 40 minutes trying to check out. I can get in, get my stuff. So
those people that you've attracted to that shop, they're not shopping at another shop. So that other shop has gone out of business and its people are unemployed, right?
Sure.
No, yes. So at some point, somebody is losing a job.
If 2 businesses in a capitalist system, one provides a better service than company B, and people shop at company A instead of company B, yeah, the employees of company B might suffer. That doesn't mean bring on the socialism.
But it means that people are unemployed. How we got here was you saying that nobody's going to lose their job, and now you're conceding. Now in your very example, people are losing jobs, and you concede that people are losing jobs, right? So we're taking that to an enormous scale. You talked about companies scaling up. It's not just one company that's going to be able to replace a lot of people. It's all companies being able to replace a lot of people, and those people not having jobs that they can easily move to. Now, Thunderbite or Jax's friend or Tom Carpenter, or I've forgotten his name, the guy with the very intelligent question who
AKA.
I'm scared of calling him anything other than Thunderbite. He seems very attached to that title.
Don't forget Dale. Original.
Right, Dale. How could I forget Dale? His story about his dog being struck by lightning was very affecting. That was a real story, actually. That was insensitive of me to bring up. My apologies. It's there may be other jobs down the line that they're going to be able to go to, but in the immediate phrase, when they're let go, they're not going to be able to rapidly shift to another one. And I worry that it's going to require them to reskill and to reskill in a hard way. And some of them may not be capable of undertaking. Well, I would argue my concern is a lot of them may not be able to complete the reskilling. So that's my concern here, is that we're losing a lot of jobs in short order. Maybe there'll be replacements down the line, but not all of these people are going to qualify for those new jobs. And that sort of economic stress in a short period of time, you're reducing consumption. People can't afford to go to the movies. People can't afford to go out. People can't afford to buy their groceries. People can't afford to buy cars. That has knock-on effects through the entire economy, and the economy can contract very, very violently unless there's some degree of control. So in order to forestall that, we need some sort of government exercise. And again, in order to forestall the sort of consolidation into a single corporation that runs AI globally, I think we need government intervention and government oversight. But you're welcome to disagree with me all you want. That's my opinion. And I consider that I've introduced at least some arguments that are persuasive, but apparently not for this crowd.
All right. Let's move on to Clay. Your question or comment to either of them?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, goodness. First off, before I ask my question, I want to thank you, Sarah, for putting up with this.
I love my job.
Yes, I know you do. I can't wait for the gauntlet. Half of this debate could have been served on the gauntlet, to be quite honest. Yeah. But I do appreciate the debaters for coming through as well. And before I ask my question, I just want to speak a little bit to the meta. Since so much meta exists up here, and Tony, you're really not going to like me on this, sir. This has been the most horrible debate, in my humble opinion. I was expecting maybe some technical things as to why it is that AI specifically serves the purpose in an economic system of socialism, but I did not get that. So I'm completely unconvinced. I appreciate Paranoid essentially bringing out there's a difference between America and Australia, and that is our rights. I appreciate that. You pointed that out, and you pointed out flawlessly, too, by the way, about how it exists in order. There's a reason they're written the way that they are. You have your first before the second, and so on.
We don't expect Australians to understand that, so that's okay.
No, sir. But with that said, I do have my first question here. Tony, what is your PhD in, sir? I can't hear you.
Is he muted? Is you
so.
like
Geophysics?
Geophysics. So you're not an economist?
No.
You don't do AI?
No.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out where your expertise are on this, because specifically you were arguing earlier about credulity. That was one of your specific points, was credulity of PhDs. How PhDs are very important in this factor of why socialism is going to be necessary, and not just socialism, but a post-capitalist society, right? Why it's going to be necessary because of AI. Why is your expertise in geology necessary also in this other field? No, what is no? I don't understand. Hold on, before you go.
I didn't say any of the things you...
Hold on, I have more to this
question. I didn't say any of the things you're claiming I'm saying.
Stop. Let me ask more to this question. I don't need a 7-year diatribe either, sir. Go ahead.
I didn't say any of the things that you claim that I said. You've misinterpreted what I've said.
No, sir. I wrote it down. I specifically wrote it down. You were arguing about credulity to getting a degree, perhaps a PhD even. Yes, this is exactly what you were saying earlier. And I don't need a 7-year diatribe why it is that you believe that the credibility factor of having a piece of paper is more important than the experience on the machine.
Credibility and credulity are opposite. They are not related concepts. And I didn't say that. What I said was, you have two people come up to you, right? Come up to a board. One of them says, I know all about this. I've taught myself, trust me. Another one has gone through a degree. Now, and you can confirm that.
So a guy in the back said it instead of the guy who's talking.
Why don't you answer the question since you know what I'm going to say?
So, yeah, I'll answer the question. So what you're telling me is that you don't trust what I'm saying. You trust the piece of paper, some doctor from like 1,500 miles away. That's who you trust. You don't trust the guy you're talking to. So what makes my word not bond, whereas this other guy from 1,500 miles away who wrote on a piece of paper, all of a sudden the experience, the literal experience, I can literally show you how to work this machine. I can get on it right now and show you how to work it. How is my experience not qualifying?
I didn't say it wasn't.
You're saying it's not as qualifying.
Well, maybe if you'd shut up long enough to let me answer the fucking question, you'd know. So well, I didn't say.
Let him talk, Clay. Let him talk.
No, I'm screaming. Okay, go ahead, PhD.
I'm uninterested in responding to your question.
Well, of course you're not. So I'll go to Paranoid American. Essentially, we can have a conversation for a couple of minutes. Sir, I really appreciate that you, as an American, understand the difference between the socialist, I can't say it yet because it's gauntlet, stupidity, the socialist and communist stupidity. I really appreciate that you point this out, sir. And you really came up against a wall that was never built. And that's my opinion of this, really. Somebody was saying that they were going to build a wall, right? And the person never even stepped foot onto the land, right? This person, go ahead.
You have doubled down on, I think, the most poignant note to be had here, and that's the entire premise that Tony came up. If I've got two people in the room, and one says, I know how to do this job, and I don't have a piece of paper, and the other one says, I know how to do this job, and I do have a piece of paper, well, what do? I guess I have to trust the paper. Well, how about this? I mean, this sounds
that's not what I said. And your listening comprehension is as bad as Clay's.
Paranoid for a couple minutes.
I thought you didn't
want to answer.
I'm not talking to you.
Hold on, Tony, because you didn't want part of Clay's question, so he I'll respond
to Paranoid.
Well, hold on.
Paranoid is mischaracterizing what I said too. If people are just going to be able to lie about what I said,
Tony, hold on for a second. Listen. Let Paranoid finish his response to Clay. Then you can correct the narrative. But you've been very interruptive all evening, so bear with me. My patience is running thin too.
Okay. So the point being that if two people sign up for the job, if you are chronically and you exist only in academia, I can see where it's like up that paper. The paper means everything. In the real world, where I actually go and work for private industry and efficiency matters and meritocracy matters, you look at those two people and you're like, okay, both accomplished this task. Let me see how you accomplish this task right in front of me. I don't care what your paper says, and I don't care if you say that you know everything. Show it to me right now. And then based on that, on actual merit, that's who gets the job. It's not who has the paper. And trust me, I've worked in this industry for 2 to 3 decades. That's usually how it happens. If someone shows up and they just go, hey, I've got a BA, I've got a BS in this field. Like, okay, I don't care. I know people that get BSs all the time and they don't know anything. They just coasted by on group projects. Sit down and show me how I can scale something. Sit down and show me what you can do in AWS. How can you refactor this old legacy code in Fortran and COBOL into something new? If you can tell me and explain to me how that happens, you get the job. I don't care what the paper says.
Yeah, and that's
so this is a mischaracter. I was told that I got to respond. I never said that a person can't be self-taught. I never said that a person with a degree can't be talking out of their ass. What I said was that if you know nothing else about the person, if you are capable of no other investigation beyond somebody's got a degree that says that they can do this, and somebody claims that they're self-taught, then the degree is a slightly more reliable indicator. You know that depending on the quality of the institution and the quality of their instructors, you know that at least something happened there that convinced the institution to give them the degree. That does not guarantee that they're suitable for your purposes. That does not guarantee that they still know what they knew when they did those courses. I never said that it does. That is a mischaracterization of what I said. You guys suck at listening comprehension.
No,
what I said was the acquisition of education is a reliable way of getting skilled people into the marketplace.
But that's not skill, sir. That's a piece of paper. Skills literally means that they're experienced.
So you're saying that a degree is utterly irrelevant, that people should not study.
No. Hold on. No.
Okay.
Stop it. No. Because now you're starting to put words in my mouth. And that's exactly what you're accusing me of doing. You actually did say and are still saying that the experience is not as important as...
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, it's not.
Okay, so which is more important in the field of, I don't know, lawn maintenance? A degree or experience?
I don't think they offer degrees. I don't think. Was that a question or?
I have 20 years of experience. I've actually owned my own company. At that point, does he want to hire me or the guy that comes in and says, I got a degree in golf course maintenance, which is actually a thing. I've got a degree. I went and studied how the grass grows, man. It's cool. This is the way it works. It's actually biological and and all that shit, but I don't know how to run a machine. I've never touched a machine. I've never ran a weed whacker. I've never ran a edger. I've never driven a tractor, right? Okay? This is the difference between someone who knows what they're doing, who has experience, versus the person who says, I got a degree. And you know what? My professor says I did a really good job on the test last week, but you know what? I don't know how to run a machine, bro. This is the simple concept.
When at any point did I say that experience is that experience and the demonstrated capacity to undertake a task is less important than a degree? When did I say that?
No. You have been saying that, sir.
No, I haven't.
But ultimately, look here. I'm going to give you some.
It should be fucking easy for you to point out where I did.
You have been saying it. But regardless of that, or at least it's my perception.
Okay, but that gets back to my claim about your listening skills.
So cry more harder.
Okay, so you're accusing me of something that I didn't say, and you're angry about it, and you won't listen to me. And you won't listen to me when I say that isn't what I said.
5 minutes for you to cry about it.
I'm done crying about it.
Okay, so now I have to give you some credit, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I want actually Paranoid to respond to this. I do believe that a very highly regulated, socialized system needs to be in place within the United States, within the government, so that the government itself is regulated. Also, the very, very large companies need to be regulated so that they can be broken up a little bit if they get too big and that sort of thing, get too much power, blah, 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 blah. However, with that said, the United States is a primarily capitalist society, and it hinges on freedom and the things that certainly would have been discussed in the recent last few days, our 250 year anniversary. I just want to give a big shout out to America for 250 years of freedom and how everybody wants to be like us, but they can't be us because they ain't free like us. So go ahead.
Can I ask what freedoms you have that I don't?
Yeah, I can walk around with my big old musket. One's for shooting, one's for fun, by the way.
Yeah, I can order 1,000 rounds of ammo in my house right now.
In what circumstances could you do that in the middle of, say, Washington, D.C.?
I can't do it in Australia.
You can certainly own firearms in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't walk around with none of them handguns on my hip.
Not inside a city. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's one
But
out of a million.
why would you? So okay. So your argument is your argument is
on the planet is absolutely
gun
asinine,
crimes.
This is why actually when you showed your graph, I had a question about that. Where was the point? The point that you were making was that the statistics of people who are doing data entry, I didn't see that on your graph, sir. By the way, that wasn't on your graph. Data entry was not on your fucking graph. You're a liar, dude. You were saying that it's 10% of the population. Where is that on the data entry thing? That's not on the graph. I pulled it back. I looked.
Right.
Yeah, you're a liar.
Administrative in support.
I stop. I
administrative in support.
Thank you,
does that involve data entry?
250 years. Woo-hoo.
Does that involve data entry, sir? Does administration and support involve data entry?
I think that a lot of the confusion debate here in this after part was caused by Tony, because Tony doesn't make a lot of statements. What he does is he asks these open-ended questions that implies the answer. So then when you try and pin him on it, he's like, well, I never said that. Well, technically he didn't say anything. He just asked a bunch of leading questions and never actually made a statement and said, and here's why I believe that, and here's the data that, backs that up. It's more like, well, what happens to those people? Do you think that they still get their job? Like, if you want to imply something, just make the statement and back it up. Enough of these like weasel questions.
Well, I was going to yield too, but I want to say this one last thing. Yes, I see that. And the funny thing is he has a lot of questions, but no answers. In fact, he even stated that in his field, he doesn't look for actual answers. He doesn't look for proof. He looks for evidence, right? So he can lay all the evidence out on the table and ask question after question after question and never puts the pieces together.
Can I just point, this is one of my favorite stories.
That's an idiotic statement.
One of my favorite stories that got me into Francis Bacon. There's this story called The Horse's Teeth, and I promise this will be the shortest tangent ever. And if no one's ever heard the story of the horse's teeth, there was like 14 academics and clerics and all of the smartest people in town, and they got together and they got into this 2-week-long debate over how many teeth were in the horse's mouth. And once they thought that they came up with the logic and they figured out, well, because this Bible statement and this, some dumbass walks in, opens up the horse's mouth and counts the teeth, and everyone is shocked at this crude bumpkin, this low wage, low skill employee. How could he possibly add anything to society? And he was just like, you guys have wasted how much time debating when like I can just go in here and just do the damn thing. And I think that that's like the disconnect where Tony and I and maybe some of you are just, we didn't live these same lives. He's the guy that sits and debates for 14 days how many teeth are in the horse's mouth.
Well, can I say something too on that one? So I love our Second Amendment. Just this is the last one. And the reason that I love it is because when we have our Second Amendment in application, we have to watch what the fuck we say. So we do more. There's only 2 things you control in your life: what you say and what you can do. And the more you do, the less you say.
All right. Fair enough. Let's move on to Spin. Your question or comment, please.
Well, I'm going to touch on something Clay said. Can AI run a camera in the middle of a field?
Yes.
Oh, it can.
Yep.
How'd that camera get there? Did the magic AI fairies,
well, the AI could have hired a drone that went and grabbed the camera that has never been touched by human hands and brought it to that field and then went back to its docking station. Yeah.
Oh, went back to its docking station. Oh.
I mean, are you saying that
how did it hook up? How did it hook up? How did it hook up to potential power sources?
Another drone.
Oh, another drone. Who's flying that drone?
AI.
Oh, who programmed AI?
AI.
Oh, you're full of shit.
But nobody's losing their job. Like all of this stuff is AI, but nobody's losing their job. Trust me. Yeah, they'll still be. And you raise a peripheral point in that the people who are at least risk from AI are actually the people whose jobs require them to get out, run cables, check that the cables are working, employ their expertise. So the people
according to the dumb fuck, AI is going to do that.
Well, there are tasks that involve manual agility and bodily presence that AI is ill suited to at the moment. It will take the development of much more advanced robotic systems, which is not but there are a lot of, for instance, running cables in a plane. The cables that are run down planes, that's done by ferret. It's not done by robot. It's not done by a machine. You tie a string to the ferret runs down the pipeline and pulls the cables behind it. So and to some extent, actually having a person tag the cable, jerk the cable if it gets snagged, work out what it's snagged on. That's not easily replaced by AI. AI is not going to be able to do a lot of these get out in the field and look at what you're saying jobs. I think you're quite right. I think that there are limits on what AI can achieve in a practical sense.
Those ferrets are all going to be unemployed too, with no other jobs to go to.
Well, sadly, they don't even get paid, those ferrets. But my concern, and I think that Spin is correct that there are jobs that are and reasonably accessible jobs that are just not under threat from AI. I agree entirely with that point. My problem is that I don't think that there are that many of those jobs, and I worry. My concern is that a lot of low-skilled people are going to be made unemployed and are not going to be able to transfer to other jobs very quickly. That's my concern with AI. Maybe I'm jumping at shadows, but my concern is that. I also think that there's a lot of corruption of government, legislation, politics, and media that's going on at the moment, and that if we move to a more responsive government that was more tightly under the control of the people, that we could prevent some of those negative things from occurring.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the dumb fuck. Every time he's on, I'm going to call him a dumb fuck because he's dumb fuck.
Okay.
Yes, you paranoid.
Yeah, you have to spell it out for me. I'm a little bit slow.
Well, speed up AI. Maybe ask AI how to speed up your brain. So I was out in the middle of the National Mall the last 3 days. Last 3 days. I had to drive up there. AI didn't drive me up there. I drove myself up there.
Congratulations.
Yeah. According to you, AI can do everything.
You could have taken a Waymo.
No, thank you. I do not want to get unalived. But my point is, I pointed the camera. I programmed everything. AI didn't do it for me. AI couldn't possibly know what settings that I'm doing.
No, that would be a skill issue. That means that you don't know how to tell your AI how to do its job
Listen, dumb
properly.
fuck, what I'm trying to tell you is there is no way a fucking computer can tell, or AI can tell me how to set my white balance. No, AI cannot set it for me.
That's silly because most cameras today have an AI feature built in that helps you set your white balance.
Okay,
that is
okay, so my
the
brand new
dumbest thing I've heard you say, and that's
EOS,
saying a lot for this show.
So my brand new Canon EOS has
Yes.
an AI function.
Yes, many of them do. If you look at a 2026 camera, they have AI
say,
enhanced
hey,
white
Google
balance.
or hey Siri, set my white balance for me. You are the stupidest motherfucker I have ever talked to. Seriously.
You think
You're
a
the
chatbot
stupidest
represents all of AI? and
I
that should be
yield because
understood.
we ain't on the gauntlet. And let me tell you, when we get to the gauntlet, I'll tell you how really stupid you are. Go ahead, Sarah.
Fair enough.
Did y'all miss me?
I'm actually shocked, Spin. I told you a long time ago you are a Democrat, sir, that thinks he's a right winger, and you just confirmed every ounce of every time I say that.
That
Mr.
is a fact.
Balderson, Mr. Balderson, final question to you, and then we will move into the gauntlet. And if anybody wants to leave there, more than welcome to. I mean, I'm not holding you hostage, but yeah. Go ahead.
She
Mr.
says
Baldwin.
that for legal purposes. There's actually a guy behind me that
Sometimes I feel like it. Sometimes I really do. Go ahead, Balderson.
So, Tony, which government can I look at historically that's been both benevolent and competent, where I would want to give up all these controls to that government, including you yourself listed socialist governments that were absolutely and are absolutely horrible?
I'd suggest that the syndicalist governments, the communist syndicalist governments of the Spanish Civil War, are a good example of what I'm talking about.
Of a
Now
government.
the problem with them is that communists don't believe in states. So those entities didn't form. They had the opportunity to form governments in Spain. They effectively won the Spanish Civil War. So these are governments that were formed during the Spanish Civil War that ruled according. Their mottos were from everyone according to their ability to everyone according to their need. That was their motto. That was how they were run. And these things managed to exist, and they were quite popular and they were quite effective. Their problem was that they weren't interested in setting up a state. And because they're suspicious of states, they don't think that states should exist. But if you don't set up a state, you can't defend yourself against other states. So they ended up being militarily overrun by the other states. But in terms of government and in terms of sort of the non-corruption of the government, these are to my mind a good example. But as you point out, and as everybody has noted, you look at the Soviet socialist republics, just authoritarian dickbags. You look at the Chinese Communist Party, just authoritarian dickbags. And I know that's going to be used against me later when they've conquered the world. But you shouldn't trust the Communist Party. I won't use TikTok because I don't trust the Chinese Communist Party. There are things I don't trust my government about. There are things I don't trust the American government about. What we need is more effective democratic controls. But you're right to be skeptical of government power. But I am more skeptical about corporations, because corporations demonstrably have been shown to be willing to kill people or kill their customers or kill other people, people outside their customers, in order to make a profit. They've been willing to conceal information that would keep people alive. They've been willing to advance products that are harmful to their consumers. So I don't trust corporations there. And ideally, what we need is some system where, sorry, camera's this way. Ideally, in a capitalist system, we've got the government on one side and corporations on the other side, keeping one another in balance, and the everyday people. If one of them gets too powerful or the other, the system collapses. If corporations become too powerful, they'll just institute monopolies and they'll just decimate the population. If the government gets too powerful without some effective control, then it becomes an authoritarian hellscape. We need some way to try and modify our systems of government to prevent that from happening. And there are a lot of proposals out there, but I would just encourage people that just because you hear the word socialism, don't think that it's un-American. Don't think that it involves you don't really
want full socialism, though, is what you're just saying.
I don't want
live in now.
I don't want an authoritarian government. I don't want any restriction of freedoms. I don't want an undemocratic system. So I don't want you guys to have any freedoms taken away, to have any of your rights taken away, or the government or the government to be overwhelmingly powerful. That's not what I want. There are socialist systems in which capital is collectivized, but it's not an authoritarian system. And I think that you're right to be skeptical that a lot of these systems have become authoritarian. and we need to fight like hell to prevent that from happening. But I think that it is achievable, and I think that we're going to have to get there, because I don't think that capitalism has the answers for what's coming down the pipeline here.
Which socialist system has classically upheld jobs that were no longer useful? Because that's really seems to be what you're saying in this, is the entire reason that we need to make this move to a more socialist is because of the number of jobs that are going to be lost. Because in this, so what I'm trying to figure out is are you stating that the government should either nerf the abilities of AI so it's not able to take over these jobs that have become useless, which has historically happened over and over, or are you saying that somebody should be forced to pay useless employees? Because which socialist government ever did that? So
what the system that I'm advocating for, and I'm not an expert in socialist economics, would be a universal base income, and people who want to work can work and accumulate additional income. So if you can get your needs met, your healthcare, your food, your shelter, those can be met with a universal base income. You want a car, you want a computer, you want access to the internet, you're going to have to do something that somebody wants. And there'll be businesses, and these businesses can be in competition. Just because you're in they can both be collectivized, but they can be competing with one another. So the idea that there's some central government that's controlling all of these businesses that are collectivized, all that means is that there's no private capital. They're still in competition with one another. They're still trying to produce innovations. They're still trying to produce goods that are better than their rivals.
Which socialist government ever did that?
I'm not.
Or do they all devolve into hell because there's no actual advantage to being the top dog? In fact, one of the big things about even the socialism of a union is you don't want to stand out above your fellow employees. They set a quota, and it doesn't matter if you're capable of doing 50 pieces. If 25 is what the fucking quota is, 25 is what you make, and that's literally how socialists work in order.
But no, it's not. No, it's not how. So
the problem.
No. Sorry.
Name me the different country that did it different.
Yeah, but the fact that they did it wrong, and you're quite right that's a critical error that a lot of socialist countries have made, which is to disincentivize extra production. So you don't get, if you go out, for instance, and you grow vegetables, you can't sell them to at a profit. You can't take money. I'm not suggesting that profit in return for work should be abandoned. In other words, if you produce extra, if you produce more than another worker, you get paid more. You get more money to spend on luxuries, or you get more resources to because you worked harder, you produced more. So people produce
up to an amount that you've arbitrarily decided.
No, well, up to as much money as one human being can realistically spend in a lifetime. You are not entitled. You are not entitled to more money than one human being can spend in a lifetime.
And
whatever happened to
that number?
Good. Sorry.
Who's deciding that number?
We are. Society is.
So it's going to be then the tyranny of the majority is what that's going to be. You've heard of this concept, right?
Yeah. If you wish to characterize it in that sense, certainly.
Right. Well, if the majority decide that they can just take whatever the minority has, that's just going to happen. That's how that works. And yes. is that morally acceptable?
I would argue that in some circumstances it is, and in some circumstances it isn't. So
who decides that?
Well, you
the
have
majority
to
every time. The majority
you have to apply your moral standard to it. But the simple
fact I'm going to assume that the minority, the ones getting taken from, are going to say this is bad, and the majority who's taking their stuff from that minority are going to say it's good every time. I mean, across the fucking board.
So let me get this right. Okay. So we to some extent have that as it is, right? The government has the power to take stuff off people, right? Take land off people. We assign the government that power.
Not really. No, they just do it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they do it for large construction projects, for instance.
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain, and that sort of stuff. If for instance you find yourself in a serious military conflict, you'll quickly find some industries nationalized. So the government has the power to do that. We rely on their discretion to not use it immorally. For instance, the Nazis decided that they could take all of the resources off the Jews. And a lot of Germans went along with that precisely because as you say, they were in the majority and they didn't like the Jews. That's immoral. Now, the counter argument is, unless you have a solid moral foundation for redistributing the wealth, you are damaging your society. You are damaging social cohesion by having a persecuted minority inside it. So you are damaging social cohesion. So if you're in a competition against another society that isn't damaging its social cohesion.
What's fucking hilarious about this is you are literally explaining what the Nazis did and advocating for what the Nazis did. It's fucking hilarious. And you don't have the actual introspection to understand that you've done this. It's fucking hilarious because the fucking of the Treaty of Versailles, the young German people were broke as fuck. And even though they hadn't actively been part of World War I, they grew up an entire lifetime of having nothing, paying the consequences of what happened in World War I. So the way that was promoted to the German people, them dirty rich Jews, they got too much, more than what they can fucking spend. They have more than what a person should have.
Just like it's being sold to the American public. Just like it's being sold to the Just like it's being sold to the American public now that immigrants are the problem. It's those dirty immigrants. They're stealing everything. They're the reason you don't have jobs. And MAGA are the good guys, right? Because they're rounding up the immigrants and they're putting them in camps. I'm suggesting that a system
before they put the rich people in camps, especially if they don't fucking pay. They're trying to make a law.
I argue.
Tries to leave California, they pay a double tax on it. They're like,
what do you mean if they
you don't get to escape? You stay here. We steal from. Period.
Yeah. Okay. So theft is a legal principle. I don't see the wealthy as needing that extra 800 million. I don't see billionaires needing that money.
It is literally what they said about the Jews. Let's fucking
that's not what they said. That's not what they said about the Jews.
All of the Jews' money.
Hang on. Can we leave this as a one-on-one debate? Okay. For starters,
I would love to keep tearing that ass up for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. No problem, bro.
So, the Nazis took all of the Jews' resources, not some of the Jews' resources. The Nazis then went on to put them in camps and to exterminate them. Right. How is that different? How is that different from what I'm suggesting? What I'm suggesting is that some of the money of the wealthy, and it would still leave them unbelievably richer than they could possibly spend, richer than they could possibly. I was in the middle of a sentence, and I'll continue speaking.
I know,
richer than they can possibly spend, richer than they can possibly spend in a lifetime. They'll still be that rich, but you're whining that they're not rich enough. And these are the people, need I remind you, who are in fact corrupting your country. They are corrupting your government. They are corrupting your media. They are corrupting your legislation. So these wealthy people who are destroying your country and are turning it into a tool for their own self-enrichment, they don't need to have their resources taken off them so that they can't do that anymore.
No, we need to make laws so they can't do that anymore. Such
Yeah,
as
but
removing
that's
Citizens
the same
United.
fucking thing.
We need
We
to
make
make
laws
so it doesn't
with a
continue.
democratically appointed
Right now, what
government
they're doing
in
is
order
legal.
to in order
So
to
now we make it
liberate them.
illegal, then they can't do that shit no more.
Yes, fine, and we can tax their wealth at the same time. It's great. Welcome
Yes,
to the
take their stuff
program.
a little bit and then more. California, once again, they have the wealth tax. It started out 5%. Now it's just a slick 10%, 20% if you try to leave this fucking county or this state, because we're going to keep taking your shit and we're just going to keep
And I'm fucking
just
torn up for
every
rich
schoolyard
people.
bully, if you give him your lunch money today, tomorrow he wants your lunch money and some extra. The next day he wants some lunch money and some more. This is.
But if we had democratic, but if we had
majority voting,
so
for the
you wouldn't
minority,
vote
why
against
the
that.
fuck not? What's it?
You
know
wouldn't
what?
vote
You got
against
$2
that.
million. $2
You
million
wouldn't vote
is
against
better
that.
than all of us live.
You
Let's
wouldn't vote against that.
everything but $2 million.
What do you mean, all of us?
It's
You're
all.
part of the electorate. You're voting for the laws. So if any law gets passed,
Nobody voted for a war.
A law. You're
wall?
voting for your law, LAW.
Nobody gets to vote for laws, particularly. We vote
Yes,
for
they do.
representatives. No, I wish we voted for laws, bro. I really do.
In
But
a
we don't.
socialist system, you do.
No, not really. No.
Yes, you do. This is the whole. This is the whole thing.
I'm going with your systems. California is probably the biggest example inside the democracy of a socialist system and all the laws that they're implementing. And I'm just explaining to you what's happening in the real world. I understand that you're doing this whole airy-fairy, I live in fucking La La Land, and telling me how that's going to work.
You're
but
going to have.
you're actually working on the
10
fucking
to
ground.
15% unemployment.
Is then I'm telling you how your shit, one for one, matches what Hitler sold the Jews, and then what happened?
No, it isn't.
And the slippery slope.
No,
I
it isn't.
explained how it fucking worked, and you have no fucking self-introspection whatsoever.
No,
it's
it isn't.
hilarious.
At
It's
what
gotta come
point?
with the
At
PhD
what point?
thing.
At what
Like, I
point?
understand you
At
think you're a
what
special
point?
boy with
At
it,
what
and other
point?
people can't be
At
fucking
what point in
intelligent
whatever
as you,
I said?
but you have
in
not
what I've
proved
said.
it for anybody.
At what point in anything that I've said have I said that rich people should be treated different from anyone else?
Are you saying
nobody
that
else?
we should go
Nobody
take
else is
more
allowed
from them
200
than
more than
everybody else?
200 million people.
That's different, isn't it?
No,
We
it
should
isn't.
take an
No,
extra percentage from
everybody
them
has their
because they
wealth
have
capped
more.
at $200
That is
million.
different, right?
This applies to
Right?
everybody.
Are you like some kind of
This
fucking
applies
retard?
to everybody. It
Are
applies
you
to
like some
everybody.
kind
It's
of
not.
retard?
It's not the
Do you
different.
need
There's
do you
not.
need some ice
It's not
cream or
different.
something,
It's not
If we are
different.
going to take extra from one group,
We're going
then
to
that is
take
different
everything
treatment than the
greater
rest of
than a
us got.
certain amount from everyone. Everyone has their wealth taxed until they reach the same point. It is a law that applies indiscriminately to everyone in the country.
Except for the ones that make more and then they pay more because they get treated differently.
No, everybody gets taxed down to $200 million or less. Once
you
they're
don't
at
get it.
$200 million or less, that's it.
Well,
So
except
everybody in
that I said
there is
that I'm
no
pretending
special
is the
case.
hair in my
There's
answer.
no
Well, I'm
special
being
case.
disingenuous,
There's no
but
special case at all. There's no
disingenuous.
special case at all.
Fuck. Like
No,
that's
All
why
right,
It's
all
the
right,
same
all right,
law.
all right, all
And
right,
then-
all
No,
right,
no, no,
all
no,
right,
this
all
is
right,
important.
all right, all
This
right.
is important.
Hold on. I can't hear either of you now. So let's just do them one at a time. I'm letting this go on longer because I'm enjoying listening to the two of you, but I also want it to be somewhat controlled, somewhat. All right, go ahead, Tony.
Okay, so there is in the Nazi Germany, they passed a law and then they said they passed laws and then they said except the Jews. Here are the Jews. We're going to treat them differently. In this system, everybody is treated the same. If you have wealth above a certain threshold, it gets taxed down to that threshold.
not
If
them
you
guys,
earn above a certain threshold, it gets taxed down to that threshold. That's
it's
the
not
same for
everybody then.
everyone. That is
So
the
not
same for
everybody.
everyone.
Those
It's the
guys don't
same.
count.
It's the same. It's the same for everyone.
Some
It's the
animals
same
are
for
more
everyone.
equal than other animals. I get it, bro.
No,
I
it's
get
the
it.
same for everyone. It's the same law. We're not carving out any exceptions.
Let's
I
let
get it, bro. Some animals are more equal than other animals. Totally get it, bro.
let's let Paranoid jump
You're
in.
the one who's saying that some people should have a disproportionate amount of wealth.
I'm
You're
the
the
one-
person.
you're the one saying
You're
that.
the person who's saying
I'm
that
not
some animals are more
muted.
equal than others. Anyway,
Am I
Paranoid,
muted?
off you go.
Just one really annoying analogy, but basically we were saying like anyone that's over 6 feet tall has to get chopped off a couple inches to bring them down to 6 feet, and it doesn't affect people that
Oh,
are
Jesus
tall
Christ, I'll take that over to
disproportionately
Dick,
because
and then I'm gonna be
we're going to enforce this on everybody equally. So if you're 4 feet tall or 5 feet tall, we're still imposing this on you. It just happens to be that if you're 6'1", we're going to have to chop off an inch of your flesh.
Okay, so your analogy is that reducing a billionaire from $1 billion to $200 million is the equivalent of cutting off somebody's flesh.
I'm saying you're treating them differently and pretending that you're not through semantics. Yes.
But it's not a physical harm. They are not undergoing economic harm.
Are you able to
They
think
are
in the
not
abstract,
undergoing
Tony?
it. In what way, economically, are they worse off for having $200 million rather than $1 billion?
Do you understand how to extrapolate abstract concepts to other domains?
In fact, sir, I have a PhD in that. So yes, I do. And your inability to follow the distinction between physical harm. You are suggesting a law in which physical harm is inflicted on people for circumstances they have no control over. My proposed policy is not on the basis of any physical characteristics or racial characteristics, nor is it imposing physical or economic.
Did he cut
Is
out
somebody
again?
with $200 million economically worse off than somebody with $1 billion?
I think you're being a little bit extremist. I'm just saying an inch of flesh. What are they going to be doing with that extra inch?
That wasn't my fucking argument, you disingenuous dipshit.
You guys are killing me tonight. You guys, I don't know. The full moon was a few days ago. Like, I don't know why it's such a hard topic to try to get through. But here's what I want to do, because I know everybody that's been sitting on panel quietly, and thank you to all of you for not like trying to chime and jump in. I know all of you wanted to, but much respect to everyone. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and start kicking off the gauntlet. But in the meantime, I'll let Salty Santa jump in. But once he asks his question, then we're moving into open. If anybody wants to leave, you're welcome to leave. If anybody wants to stay and hang, that's fine. Fair and games. All right. Go ahead, Santa.
All right. In the interest of time, good to see you again, PhD Tony. One, I understood that the socialism would retain jobs, and if we lost 10% of the jobs, that'd be around 30 to 34 million, which is roughly the average of all the murders that occurred in converting large countries like ours to socialism. True or false?
False.
Okay. Maybe you don't have the data in front of you and you appear to be muted. Two, can you also give me the countries that led in innovation when they were a socialist country?
No.
Okay. Number three, we will do it right. All the others did it wrong. Do you hear that in your own argument?
Yeah.
Okay. Four,
having just argued for the benefits of innovation, I don't see how that's a controversial statement.
Well, good. I mean, modern healthcare that we've shared all around the world, it's saving those lives with those cheaper healthcare costs they were developed here.
Yeah, and
that means more people live.
So, but your access to them is limited by cost. An estimate, it is. Yes, it is. An estimated 10 to 40,000 Americans die every year because of inadequate access to healthcare.
But that's just a lot less than socialism, for one, and for two, if you go into an emergency.
No, it isn't, sir. No, it isn't, sir. We have socialized healthcare in Australia. and we don't have people dying for lack of. We don't have people dying. We don't have people. We don't have people dying for lack of access to healthcare.
I don't mind. Clay and I practice this all the time. But the innovation came from this country because there was a profit motive.
Why wouldn't there be a profit motive in the socialist system that I outlined?
I don't know.
Hold that thought, Santa. I'll give it right back to you. Hold on just for a second. All right. If you're watching over on the Raging Tomatoes side on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Insta, or whatever, Pilled, anything on the Raging Tomato, I'm moving you all over to the Gauntlet on YouTube. Okay, that is at the Gauntlet Debate. If you want to continue watching this crazy shit going on right here that's got me all willy-nilly, continue over there. I'm closing out the Raging Tomato now. Also, I do see we have the super chats in. I will get to them after Santa finishes his little drill down here. I don't want to interrupt it any more than I need to. Okay, back to you, Santa.
Okay, and the next part was financial, and you said some, not all. I'm assuming you gave an arbitrary number. I don't know if it's already been worked out by the DSA, but the spirit of Americans is you don't get to take mine because somebody else wants it. So, converting us to socialism. And by the way, I'll give you one tip. I already received VA medicine because I earned it.
So
I'm not in socialized medicine.
So I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. What does somebody who doesn't work hard enough deserves to die?
Oh, well, you can get hyperbolic if you want, and if they don't agree with
you just said you earned your medicine. So being alive is something that you have to earn, and people who don't earn it deserve to die.
Well, how are you going to choose who loses money and who it goes to?
So, apparently, your health insurance executives have no difficulty deciding who's going to die and who isn't going to die because that's their job. Whereas in a socialized healthcare system, that nobody dies because of lack of access to healthcare system. Everybody is guaranteed
because of delays in the medical system. You should tell that to somebody.
I said lack of access. I said lack of access.
Okay. And of mine in Canada with socialized medicine died waiting to get to the procedure.
Okay. And what they didn't die of was not being able to afford it.
Oh, okay. So
and we can let me bring up the figure again. Perhaps you missed that bit of my presentation.
No,
Canada has a life expectancy that is a full 5 years beyond America's, right?
Yes.
And they spend less than half what America does on healthcare per person per year.
Because the machine isn't available. I heard.
Hold on. Can I ask a question to that? Because Canada also just started beelining people to the self-unaliving system where they can pretty much, they can 1-800 a number, say, I don't want to be here anymore. And like by day 2, they're processed and already ready to go. So, and when we looked into it, this was like a year or so ago when we first started looking into it, where they were, a lot of the people that were choosing to unalive themselves and were being processed very quickly for it, they all had medical needs that weren't being met. They were all impoverished and couldn't afford, they couldn't afford to live, even though medical stuff was provided. They couldn't afford to live either way.
So you're arguing Canada should be more socialist?
No, what I'm saying is, I'm wondering if your data chart is accurate based on their MAID program has pushed their numbers up a lot, where people are just left and right.
Okay. Do you think we could look that up? Have you tried looking that up?
No, I'm asking the accuracy of your data point only because of that new system and what they have going on and how they're really running through that pretty quickly right now.
I find it difficult to believe that that's going to have a demographically significant impact, but I can look up the stats for you if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that there's a lot of factors that go into why a life expectancy is up or down in a certain region in a certain country, right? So it's not just like, oh, all of a sudden we have healthcare and now life expectancy is X, right? There's a lot of factors that go into that. You know, in the inner cities, the life expectancy is probably going to be a whole lot lower than out there in the country.
And
right?
Yeah.
So what matters is not necessarily your amount of money that you have in your pocket, but what you're actually doing with your life, right?
Right.
Right. So if you're
I was just looking up. I was looking
Yeah,
up at the stats on MAID. MAID has a statistically negligible impact on overall national life expectancy.
And what is MAID? I'm sorry, I didn't catch what MAID.
Medical assistance in dying.
Medical assistance in dying. So the demographic stats on that are that generally it's people who are close to death anyway. So the life expectancy isn't hugely impacted. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted looking up that data. Could you repeat your question for me?
I think that was.
I think it was Santa.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, this to me, and I don't remember the precise question. I do apologize. But to me, I see we get to choose whoever we is about what financial level is set. Then I heard that socialized medicine is the neatest thing since peanut butter. You have the most expensive healthcare in the U.S., perhaps with the highest fatality rate or total outcome. And yet, friends of mine died in Canada because they were waiting on healthcare.
With all due respect, sir, anecdotal evidence is not statistically significant.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from people here. Anecdotal is important to me, so that's what really matters to me most. If my family member dies, I don't care about your stats.
Then, quite frankly, I can make the argument that that's an immoral position.
Right. And you made the argument before with paranoid that you didn't have to provide proofs because science has evidence. So here's my study, population N equals 1, and it shows that someone died waiting for health care. Refute the study.
What's the statistical significance of your study?
Oh, I guess it 1 out of 1. So I just have to find.
Yeah, with a sample size of 1, extrapolation beyond that is nonsensical, right?
And that's where you're saying that at least 15 major countries have gone over to socialism. They don't lead in innovation. You guys are winning in healthcare. I can't help it that Obama signed over all this stuff.
Actually, Obama really helped the situation rather than made it worse.
You know that they literally had to roll back the mandate because that was way too much on the American public. For real, bro. The mandate was the stupidest shit I'd ever seen.
My mom for a while didn't have health care.
Your life expectancy has gone up since Obamacare was introduced.
Fuck no, it hasn't. I'm not dead yet.
But violent crime has gone down, so let's not go with correlations alone, right?
What demographic proportion of people are murdered? Do you understand the stats on that? It's like 7 in 10,000. So that doesn't have a huge impact on your life expectancy. Nor does obesity. It literally, mate. You need to listen to me. 10 to 40,000 Americans die every year because they can't afford healthcare.
How many people die?
If ISIS did that, if ISIS came and killed between 10 and 40,000 Americans a year, you guys would be out the fucking street.
Hold on. Stop. Let me implement one very simple concept here.
Sure.
Right now, it is pretty much the panel versus Tony. We all see that, correct?
Yes.
Everybody sees that. Okay. So be
except
mindful,
for angry American.
Except for angry American, and you're just in a weird place right now. But we have to understand if it's 1 versus 8 of you, you have to allow him the time to talk because it's 8 other voices against 1 of his. Okay, so be mindful with that. Okay, thank you.
May I just challenge the last point? I was asking you about You brought up the other numbers. I appreciate it. You're responding to what I'm talking about. That's really cool. We already covered the innovation part. We already covered that there are other factors. That's just not a truth alone in itself. It's correlation, not causation. You said 10 to 40,000 people died for lack of health care. I didn't see it if you provided it, but did you provide a study on NIH or something like that or similar, or science or any of those groups that show what your number is correct?
Yeah, sure. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Am I sharing?
Hold on. Oh, sorry. It
Yeah,
pops
you
up
put
on
it
the
in,
side.
you put it
I
in the
see it.
share.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
fair enough.
Back to the paper. Okay, it's safe to pull up now.
Okay, sorry.
Oh,
There you go.
did Ant just share them? Okay. So 2005 is pretty good, right?
Okay.
Is that the one you're talking about, or Fraser Institute?
That's so this is let me see. So the
2008.
journal is the National Library of Medicine from 2008. Okay.
2008. Okay.
All right. Do you want me to?
I can. I just got a link from somebody else from 2025 that shows it's just updated data. I'm not saying it took it down. Second Street released government data, so assuming that source is correct, an additional 15,000 patients in Canada died between 2023 and 2024. I'm just reading it cold out loud, and I only chose it because it was more recent.
Okay, so physicians for national, so lack of insurance to blame for almost 45,000 deaths.
Yeah.
So
Atlanta Journal.
the stat, and that's each year, right? That's an annual. So if you're talking about 2000, and sorry, I'll stop screening now. But yes, to answer your question, I have looked at the stats on this. I wasn't just pulling it out of my ass.
Sure.
As I've been accused of doing previously. So the stats on this, and literally, you need to ask yourself. So if ISIS were running for election in the US and they killed about 50,000 Americans a year, how would you react? But the Republicans are out there advocating for a healthcare system that kills between 20 and 50,000 people a year, and you guys are totally okay with it.
Are more
Like it seems insane.
Are more Democrats or Republicans in the health?
What makes you think? What makes you think I'm a Democrat?
I'm asking because you just blamed Republicans for having this healthcare issue. Like how many Republicans versus Democrats are involved in the healthcare insurance? Because what you're telling me is it's the health insurance cost, right? So if it's the health insurance cost, right, that means that it's regulated how much it's gonna cost, okay?
No.
But it's also those people who own these health insurance companies and the doctors also involved in the whole medical industry, right? It's not just all of a sudden Republicans.
No, it's because it's a market that doesn't work. Right, it's a market that doesn't work without government intervention. If you leave it up to, so it is too expensive to insure somebody who is ill. So insurance companies come up with ways not to insure people who are ill, whereas people who are healthy don't need health insurance, so they don't pay into it. So the way to equalize the system, to equilibrate the system, is to have everybody pay in and assign the money where it's needed. It's not a privatizable market. It's a market that doesn't function without government intervention and oversight. Just like your police force, it doesn't make any sense to have a police force where users pay in order to have the police come up and enforce the laws they want enforced, or to pay a judge to come up and issue the findings that you want found.
Yeah, we highly subsidize our.
So those are socialized systems. You have socialized systems in the US, and so healthcare is one of those systems that you should socialize.
Hold on, but I could, if I have the money, afford my own security team. Could I not?
Yes, absolutely. And you can have a private hospital, and you can have private medical services. So we still have private hospitals in Australia. We still have private practices in Australia. If you want to spend more money and you want to do your own thing, you can do that. It's not illegal to go and get higher quality care. It's not illegal to go and get, if you have optional surgery, the government isn't obligated to pay for that. It's optional. But you can go and you can pay for it on your own. That's fine. So yes, nobody's saying that you shouldn't have the option for private hospitals and for private healthcare. And indeed in Australia we still have health insurance companies. My health insurance company is actually member owned.
I have a question in regards
so it's kind of socialist.
Before anybody goes, I'm going to read some super chats. It is owed to our patrons. We love them and we appreciate them for helping to continue on the show. IO10 with the Big 10. I'm back. Hashtag Vegas tomato tax. Hoping PhD Tony is staying for the gauntlet. So far, he's here, and I'm not going to tell him to leave at any time. I think he's having a good old time. Howard with the big, I don't even know what this is, but he says, show me proofism that Tony is right. Spin.
Those are Norwegian krona.
It's about $10. It's about
Sweet.
110. With the kroners are about 1/10.
I like whatever the kroners be croted. Andrew, Santa said, can I come in? And we let him in. He asked so nicely. Mr. Farley says, in the dark, if you're a Sleepy Tomato fan, you know where that song came from. And I bet you're singing it right now, too. Stoppo says, go Ben. Howard says, just talk over him, Ben, which Ben ended up doing anyways. Dragon Fist with the big 5 says, good job, Ben. And Paranoid is looking like he has no more questions as to if he won this or not.
Check your Discord, Dragon.
He looks content that he's won the debate. And certainly on the basis of people coming in, I've utterly failed to make any sort of persuasive case whatsoever.
That's okay. This is fun though. Somebody always has to be the heel, right? Sometimes I'm the heel. It all works out. Brick says with the big 2, worth every minute of waiting. Yes, I again to the panels, to the panelists, all of you were very patient, and I let things go a little longer because it was a good conversation. Why would I want to shut that down? But that means you all had to shut up in order to allow that to go. So thank you very kindly. Yes. Dragon Fist with the big 10. Let's hit the goal before the gauntlet. I'm pretty sure you guys hit the goal. I don't even fucking care at this point. We're all having a good time. But I will reset the goal for the next hour. And Howard said, put on the gauntlet, Santa. Write him down with the slide. Fucking Santa. All right. And you guys do know it is open, but I do appreciate the fact that you're all maneuvering respectfully with each other. So thank you. And
Clay had a question.
And I'm really hoping.
Before we go again, real quick, Christy wanted to say hi to Tom. She was all delighted.
Yeah. The better Balderson. Hey, I want to say something too. I know Clay was about to talk, but I want to say something. Then Sarah's gonna kick me. First of all, Paranoid, thank you for coming back up. Appreciate you being here. I know you mostly just got to sit there and smile tonight, and that probably made your job easier, but I do appreciate you being here. Tony, I appreciate you being here too. Are you in Australia now?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. I mean, middle of your day, you're taking time out for us.
Well, I'm between jobs actually at the moment.
Okay, well, it's still the middle of your day.
It is still the middle of my day.
Exactly.
Even more reason why everyone should go send Tony some money. Okay.
There you go.
My channel isn't monetized, so that's not possible.
Well, we'll send it snail mail, but appreciate you being here. And I would just like to say very quickly as I'm departing, first of all, Yes, LLMs hallucinate, but we're making some really good progress on that. Kraut,
Yeah.
you still look good. Angry American, man, I didn't know you were a Democrat. Clay, Second Amendment has nothing to do with AI, but I get why you brought it up. Salty Santa, hey, I agree with you, man. Well, they messed up, but we're going to do better argument. I hate that. And of course, Balderson, just keep bouncing in your chair, man. We love you. And so with that, until Sarah kicks me, I'm going to annoy you because Duck never played his kazoo. So.
Hey, harmonica.
Come on, kick me, Sarah. Kick me.
Oh no, that was fun entertainment. Nobody can be mad at that. Does anybody want to boot him for playing a harmonica?
Somebody needs to boot.
No, I think Tom, I just want to say before you do get kicked, thank you for the thoughtful questions and for the thoughtful response. And I agree, there's every reason to be skeptical about something that hasn't been successfully done before. But we have in the past, if we come together and we all work on it, we have achieved things that we haven't done before. So I'm not sure that that's the insurmountable problem that you present. We used not to have democracies. Now we have democracies all the time. So I consider it a necessary step to avoid some social outcomes that I consider undesirable. But you raise good objections and thoughtful ones. So thank you.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing, and that's why I wore my Unagi shirt tonight.
Right.
If you don't know Unagi,
you aren't living
paid attention to the culture of American sitcoms.
Right.
But
grilled unagi is grilled eel. You need to.
In American culture, unagi is awareness at all times, thanks to the Friends sitcom. But anyway,
really, okay.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
I was unaware.
Guys, and by the way, Mater Nation is Greater Nation, and I'm out of here.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to boot him now, huh? Boot.
Yes.
So Clay was about to ask her.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So there's a cap that you have presented, and I'm curious about that cap because it's like 200 million or whatever cap you decide to put on it. It's 50 million, 100 million, whatever, 50,000. Okay. The tax goes to the government. Okay. At that point, right? That's the way taxes work. There's nobody else that gets that money. Now, what does the government do with that money? Do they proportion it out? Because essentially that proportioning, who do they proportion it out to? And how much do they proportion out? Does that guy who got capped at 200 million get his $5,000 stipend? Or does he get an extra, I don't know, 20,000 on top of that? Because essentially, I mean, he's the one who worked for that money. And see, here's the reason.
Do rich people work for their money? What work has Elon Musk done for his money?
Yeah, bro, that's how it works.
No, it's not. It's not how it works. People get money by being related to rich people.
No, you can get some money off of some.
By winning a lottery. Elon Musk won 2 lotteries. He didn't work hard. He didn't deserve his money.
You asked a question, so you're going to answer it now.
Jeff
do that?
Bezos,
well, I'm going to give an example.
Start from money.
So you asked the question.
Elon Musk, who didn't?
And you didn't really
Jeff
answer my question.
Jeff Bezos. Okay.
So now we're on a different fucking subject. You didn't answer my question. I'm asking who gets the money.
Okay. So if that's your question, maybe just ask it.
That's exactly what my question was.
No, they don't. Everybody gets the same universal base income. In order to achieve more resources than that, you need to work.
So if I make $200 million, not a penny over, I get to keep all of that, and I get also a $5,000 stipend. Then, if I make 200 million plus 5,000, okay, then I got to give up that 5,000, and then you're going to give it right back to me.
No, I'm going to give it. It's again going to be socially distributed.
So what about the 5,000? Don't I get my $5,000 stipend?
You're talking about somebody who's at the 200 million.
And I make plus 5,000.
And then you're getting your income, right? If you end up with more than 200 million at the end of the financial year, then it
Plus
gets taxed
5,000.
again.
Specifically 5,000.
So you haven't spent any money, but you've been alive for a year.
200 million plus 5,000. I give it to you, and then you give it right back. Is that correct?
But
yes or no?
No.
Okay, so then when do I get my $5,000 stipend?
So normally it would be bi-weekly, and you would not receive $5,000 every 2 weeks.
No. We've already decided that 5,000 is the stipend. Everybody gets it, even the guy who made 200 million or
$5,000 per what?
Hold on, wait. So the guy who makes 300 million, he pays 100 million off to the tax, but he doesn't get a $5,000 stipend.
No, he does get a. So sorry.
So 300 million.
Hang on.
$5,000 stipend.
Are you talking about wealth or income? Are you talking about wealth or income?
I'm talking about the money that I made for the year. It doesn't matter whether it's wealth or income, whatever. $200 million is what I made for the year, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And then I made $5,000 plus. Do I get a $5,000 stipend after I pay the government my?
So do you already have resources? Do you already have $200 million in resources?
I made $200 million in for the year.
And that's all you have is that 200 million.
200 million plus 5,000. That was my profit.
You're not giving me the parameters to answer the question.
What the fuck? Can Paranoid, can you explain it?
Because the 200 million is a wealth threshold, it's not an income threshold.
Sir, I made $200 million.
So you're talking. So no, you don't receive $200 million. Incomes of $200 million are not permitted.
Can we just think of it as credits, regardless of what bill, dollar bill, whatever, U.S. dollar, yen, whatever the hell you want to call it? Okay.
Nobody gets an income of $200 million.
Like I go into the arcade and I put a $20 bill in. I get 20 tokens back. Those are called credits. That's the way the system is. It's always worked that way. It just happens that we have inflation, so it gets ridiculous with how much the games cost. Okay, this
monopoly money.
It works. Yeah, it's monopoly money. Essentially, we're on what's it called, fiat currency now at this point, and it's worse than that because the fiat currency is in the computer.
Trump coin.
What he's saying is if you made 200 million and you have that, then there's literally no reason for you to work the next year or have your company open, because anything you make that whole next year, you've reached this threshold. So there's zero reason for you to keep operating or employing anybody.
That's
because all those people are unemployed. And
what has that person done to earn $200 million?
It doesn't matter. That's not the point.
No, okay. It is. It is the point.
You're going to track off.
Okay, well, hold on. I might be able to tag on with you on this, Clay. So,
why don't I fuck off and you guys can actually pretend that you know what the answer to your question is that I would have given if I'd been given a chance to talk.
I'm asking you, but you're not actually answering. You're giving questions.
I had so many questions.
Hold on. Can I ask a question? Because Tony left. Yeah, Tony's part. I'll just tell you guys real quick. He keeps asking, what has that guy done to earn 200 million? What has the lazy motherfucker done to get shit from a socialist economy from somebody that did more shit than that guy did?
That's a great question.
Like Erling Haaland, he took and got Finland or fucking Norway all the way into the World Cup, brought in all kinds of business. They're super famous. That dude fucking has $500 million.
Hold on, Clay, what the fuck just happened? What did I just miss?
He left.
He rage quit. He said
he wasn't there for what's the
he said, everybody, you can answer it, fuck off, and he left.
I was literally about to ask him about apparently how all rich people inherit all their money. And none of them apparently were.
I mean, it's his topic.
And then I wanted to know what his classification for rich was. Like what was the threshold for it?
200 million.
Rich in his eyes.
200 million. There's no reason to have anything over that. Like he's willing to take like all your shit after that. You can have 200 million. That's it. That's why I used Erling Haaland, who himself has earned the entirety of his fortune in his life. is basically a national icon, brought in all kinds of money for Norway and all kinds of attention, and fucking that guy deserves the money that he earned. Why are you saying you get to take 300 million of his dollars that, or that just because you're like, oh, you are too much of this,
so
too much.
I think that Peter Schiff said this the best when Occupy Wall Street was going on, and he was actually on the ground interviewing people. They said, oh, after you make first it was 2 million, and now apparently the socialists keep going up and up and up to try and get more people on board with this crap. So he said, okay, after I make my 2 million, I'm shutting down my company for the year. I'm shutting down my company. I'm laying off my staff, and I'm going to go relax. That's what they would do. The production, all the production would just collapse. There would be none.
You're literally wearing out your machines and and taking gambling with your money and risking taking losses with no chance to recoup anything. Like what would the game be? I'm just for the next year going to just use up my equipment and not make a single dollar. So that way the year after that, when I can make money, now I also have my equipment blown out. It makes no sense.
Return on investment, right?
No, you're missing the fucking point. According to some people, AI would just shut the company down.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to get back to AI.
Everything he said about AI, he was right about, and Thomas is like, dude, in intelligence-wise, you are the spark of a lighter, and he is a fucking raging forest fire. It was hilarious watching that.
The one point that I keep thinking of, like, this 200 million is arbitrary, and it's going to keep going up as the pro-socialists make a little bit more and more. Like, originally it was Bernie that was like, no one should make $1 million, and then it was like, no one should have $10 million, right? But remember how much Elon Musk bought Twitter for? It was like 44 billion with a B dollars. So in this world where no one's allowed to make more than 200 million, you're basically saying that an individual person would never be under that circumstance where they could own a large company the way that Elon Musk just like straight up bought it from, like a Saudi
hold
prince.
on. The caveat would be you'd have to co-op.
With 220 other people in order to get to 40. So
imagine the infighting.
You get a free platform where 220 different people have to form, like by law, they have to come together and form like a state, corporation, and then that's the thing that owns it. Like I don't know, it doesn't make any sense because I get too American.
Problem, why would they? They already have as much money as they're allowed to have. So there's no return on investment because any return on investment would just be sacrificed to the state.
100%.
Well, I mean, the answer to maybe a rhetorical is to be able to own a lion's share of influence. So it's a trading of capital value in for like social value. That's the reason
true.
we do it.
That actually is a good point. You might see like an alternate economy or like a secondary economy emerge where you actually can compete and trade fairly, as opposed to the government system that is just going to be terrible.
I have a legit question that I honestly don't know how to. I really wish Tony would have stayed up with what I said right after he left. But what happens in the socialist economy when somebody retires? Is that feasible? Like, most people retire off the shit that they say.
The state will just pay for everything for you at that point.
Yeah, I don't fucking trust the state.
But then they also offer you a lottery to get out of the game. I mean, that's what Sarah brought up too. I mean, it's not an open-ended. You're going to have the fields are alive with the sound of summer or whatever that is from that.
The hills are alive with the sound of socialism.
You know what another issue that I find another issue I find with it is that, okay, let's say that I get a $5,000 stipend a month. That's my stipend, right? Or I can go work for somebody for $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month. Let's say it's $10,000 a month. 5,000 now. 5,000 is a decent amount of money. I can get by with 5,000. So which one am I going to do? Even if it's 10,000 for the job, I'm going to do the 5,000, right?
Well, the problem is like everybody's getting this $5,000 stipend. that's setting a baseline for anybody that's like selling anything, right? Because
Rent
everybody's
is going to skyrocket.
Yep, exactly.
Well, and the reason that we have so much innovation and everybody literally wants in the American market, nobody's trying to get into these other markets. The American market is the one that everybody wants to be in. And that's because we have this system where you can gain and things like that. And so there's a viciously competitive market here. I understand at some points, some people corner the markets. That's honestly more to do with government regulations than it is with anything else. And that's the thing that the socialists don't talk about, is that it's government regulations. Then, like in California here, they set the bar for entering the legal cannabis grow so high that it was prohibitive for fucking most people. Then they played this game where anytime they changed the law a little bit, tweaked it, then you had to repay that giant amount to do it. And so it just narrowed the window down to who is able to operate in that. And now, like, I live in Humboldt County, which is historically where the most cannabis in the country has been growing. And between me and town, where 6 years ago there was 200 grows that you could distinctly tell between me and town, now there's 3 grows, but they're all owned by the same lady, and she's the heiress of the Sears Roebuck Corporation.
Hey, sir, can I ask a favor real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you move my avatar, because that Raging Tomato is blocking my pretty face?
Why do you deserve a Raging Tomato?
The tomato will sit over Ant's tomatoes perfect when they smush up against the pole up there.
Well, and then bouncing off of what Kraut asked, you know, what happens at the end of your time as being a productive person in the economy? I think that is something that we really do need to address in our country better. I don't know that socialism is necessarily the thing there. I've been really happy with the healthcare that I've gotten from the VA, but I've heard absolute horror stories. So has anyone heard of anything that does take care of seniors better? Because as I understand, Social Security is running out of money. So what are we doing if it's going to displace some jobs, and it's, you know, maybe it's 10 million. That's 10% of the working or of the whole population. Half the population usually at least is working. So you're talking maybe $80,000 to $100,000. What are the things that we're going to be looking forward as you guys go to vote on how we can resolve this? Or Paranoid, do you have any items for that, or are you just saying,
I mean, like you guys brought up, I might be biased in this one, but I earned that. Here's my VA. You know what I mean? So I put in the time to get out what I put in. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, well, thank you. The thing that wasn't talked about, and I don't know why they couldn't think of it. One of the glaring problems as we're having this move into AI is the infrastructure to support it. We already have failing infrastructure, and when we say infrastructure, it's not just roads. It's your roads, it's your water systems, it's your sewage systems, it's your electrical systems. All of these things are all geared into infrastructure, and every one of those systems is miserably failing right now. And in order to achieve this other thing, we are going to need a vast move of labor into these fields that are going to do those things, who are going to start becoming skilled at those fields, like electrician. You go through an apprentice program, which is on the job training. And I promise a fourth year apprentice is worth 50 guys that graduated out of those little Votech programs and hits the field. Those guys don't know what the fuck they're doing.
What if they have a PhD?
Yeah. You know, it was hilarious when he's like stopped at the actual measurement of the guy that made the claim. Like any employer is not capable of then going, oh, so you say you know how to work on a car? What's wrong with this car here, and fix it. And then when you do that proficiently, they're like, hey baby, you know what? I'm going to pay you 15 now. If you're as good as you say you are in 2 weeks while I'm testing you, I'll bump you up to 20 and we can do this. Like, you know, like that doesn't exist in the world, because that's my experience in the job market.
That is my experience in the job market as well. Like if I go in there telling the guy I got experience, you know, specifically, especially when it comes to the labor market. Now in the production, it's a little bit different, sure. But it's there is room for that as well. But when you talk about the labor industry, and I tell the guy I know how to drive the tractor, I mean, if I can't figure out what button does what lever does what, all that, like the guy's going to look at me like I'm an idiot, and he's not going to hire me. At least I can tell him what the lever is for, right? If I can't do anything else, he's going to say, okay, well, what's that lever for, right? And then if I can point it out, then he knows that I know at least a little bit. Maybe he's going to put me on there, right? That's a massive difference between that, right? This is what the interview process is. This is the interview process throughout the history of the job market, right?
Especially,
I just want to recognize Nani sent in the 5, said, is Tony gone? Good. Now we can have a reasonable debate instead of a dissertation from the most learned and certified dumbass here. Geez, I'm not going to throw shots at Tony. I feel like he was in a very odd predicament, which sometimes happens on these panels where one person is absolutely in a heel position and the entire panel is angered by what they're saying, not necessarily angered, but has something to push back on with every single thing he says. So I thought he handled it pretty well, considering like when everybody came up, they all came at him, except for Spin, but Spin's a hiding Democrat, but we love him anyway.
Can I take his place?
Sarah, dude, I've been telling him that for
I'll take his place. I have
plenty of friends who like yelling at purple hairs and stuff and weird people, but all of his positions, for the most part, are actually super Democrat when you sit and talk.
Yeah,
I know.
I feel like part of it
we still love you though, Spin. I think you think you're fighting for one team, but the reality of it is your arguments, when you actually break them down, you're fighting on the other end. Oh, Voltaire's here. But we love you though. We love you regardless, because no matter what, you fucking fight. All right. Salty. Oh, yes. Thank you.
You don't have to read it. You don't.
I don't.
No.
I want to read it. Can I read it? Or do you want me to not read it?
No, either way, it's fine. Either way.
Do you want me to read it? You're like a woman when I ask her, where the fuck do you want to go for dinner?
I don't know. Do you want to go to the beef barn? No.
I spent some time around some women, so this is the thing, right? So,
all right. Clay comes in with a big 25. Thank you so much, Clay. He says, in honor of
Tony's. Should say Tony's.
Oh, okay. It messed itself up. In honor of Tony's rage quit, not my fault. Fair enough.
Because he did rage quit on me.
I was checking a scheduled debate email in that very moment, and I had like between a text and an email of what was going on between the two of them. So I like had to mentally check out for a second, and the next thing you know, I look up and I'm like, wait, where the fuck did Tony go?
The more to the point of the last super chat, I think, was that Tony would answer simple questions with a diatribe for 5 minutes, and then would get mad if anybody else wanted to talk also. And then, you know, as it turned into especially in the gauntlet, more back and forth, and he wasn't allowed to do those diatribes, he got super mad about that. But I also don't agree that I would prefer that he had stayed on the panel longer, because you have to have an opposition. Now we're all just talking about just basically hashing out a point without
change, in other words,
to defend the point.
Yeah. Which is why I am fixing to get off. If I can just say a couple of things, not even in regards to
yeah, that's what she said. He always types that in the back chat.
I'm getting off the panel. All right, so what was I gonna say?
That still doesn't work though, Kraut. Never say you're getting off of anything, Kraut.
I will say I am exiting the panel.
There you go. There you go.
But
now
before it was my turn to come up, I was legit trying to find a voice changer to make myself sound like a female so it could fit with the picture. But on more levy note, today was the first day, and this is quick. Today was the first day that my youngest son, my only son, my youngest kid, first day in school, and it was the first time he rode the bus. And I tell you what, man, it broke my fucking heart because he sings "Wheel on the Bus" all the time. He points out the bus when we drop our 2 older daughters off. He was singing "Wheels on the Bus" when he saw the bus. He started flipping shit when he realized he's getting on that motherfucker. We could even see him through the back windows crying, pointing at me and his mother. And I don't know, man. That's my little man right there, man. Hopefully tomorrow will go a lot smoother. And yeah, that's.
Oh, don't worry, bro.
That's
It's only
hard,
like
brother.
a year.
God bless
it's
you,
only
brother.
Like a year before he's like, "Fuck off." I'm gonna go.
Well, you're gonna remember that for the rest of your life, and hopefully every day gets better for you, brother.
Yeah.
But hey, Sarah, it's been a minute since you hosted one of these. I know you were busy, making moves in Vegas and everything. Thanks for starting another one. I miss these formats. Ben, it's always a pleasure. Spin, come out the closet, bro. We all know you're a Democrat. Hey, take it easy.
We love you, Kraut. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. Poor Spin. We love you, Spin. Nunny says, my point, Raging Tomato. Oh, by the way, did you know Rollo Tomasi? When I talked to him, I told him that my chat used to say that Rollo was my uncle because of RT and RT, right? And he's like, yeah, I know. I saw that video. And I was like, oh my God, you saw it. He saw one of my News from the Manosphere videos when I called him Uncle Rollo or whatever. But I thought that was a compliment. Yeah. But he may or may not be here tomorrow night. He said he will. It will be a closed panel up front for me, Dragon Fist, if Shaman can join, and Gibbs for thank you. My brain is like squishing out, man. But it will be a closed panel up front, and then later on when we're done with our review, then we'll open it up for everyone else. But just but he said he'd be here. I sent him the link. Anyways, he says, my point, Raging Tomato, Tony never let anyone actually talk, disruptive and insulting. I got nothing from the exchange. Okay, Nunny. These are all great feedback for Tony, right? Not for me, because there's only so much I can do. And I say that with a very open heart to all of my panelists, because you all have your flaws. You all have your amazing, what's the fucking word?
Characteristics, personality?
No.
Inside.
Individuality.
No, not flaws, but things you do great. What's the opposite of that? Gifts.
Talent.
Disappointments.
No.
Individualistic traits that bring upon the good stuff.
You all have
eccentricities.
You all have flaws, but you also all have amazing qualities to you. Okay. And you all have these different things going on across the board. And sometimes some of your flaws make their way to the front of the line that evening, while your other great contributions that you have towards the panel make their way to the back of the line that evening. So, and we all see this shift happen. I know we've poked at Clay before. We've poked at Spin before. Like everybody's had their night. Even Ben has had his nights where I'm like, Ben, right? I have my flaws coming to the forefront. I don't know what any of you are talking about, but even my flaws have made their way to the forefront. And maybe tonight, right? And so that's why I say this feedback. Aww. And maybe this kind of feedback is for Tony to read and Tony to digest, right? But there's nothing that I can do to change him and what he's doing, right? Does that make sense? Now, I can moderate it differently. I can tell Tony, stop being so disruptive. But I already said when we started Gauntlet mode, Tony's outnumbered. So we need to understand he's going to do more talking than you are as the individuals. And not to say that I don't recognize that he did have some lengthy pieces even before that. That Even Paranoid is known for monologuing, right? You all have your monologue moments, but there's nothing. This is for him to read and digest, not for me. I can't change somebody. So.
Part of it is a little bit warranted because if the topic is about AI and then it immediately sidetracks to I stubbed my toe this morning, therefore let's talk about socialism over capitalism. Like, I was excited to talk about the AI aspect of this because really the previous time I was on here talking about teachers was the exact same argument that we could have it branched into this, which is replacing these industries which have typically been gatekept by people that are willing to get a student loan and that have some sort of a luxury that they're able to not be in the workforce for 2 to 4 years, and then they get to enter sort of at their own leisure, right? To me, that's gatekeeping. And by eliminating, or at least by removing that barrier, so now anybody straight out of high school, straight with no college, no student debt, can still enter that industry. I see that as like a rising tide lifts all
dude
ships.
that literally has PhD in his show name, which he gets to pick. That tells you something about his mindset mentality already. He's like,
hold on. Let's be mindful because he's not here to defend himself, and we all know how we feel about that. So let's be mindful if we're gonna shit talk. Make sure that he's at least here to defend himself.
That is.
I wasn't really talking. I was saying a guy that has that in his name is obviously that's something he's self-identifying in that, saying this is who I am. I'm very proud of this. I identify with it. And for him to then have to subject himself to some punk that just typed in some shit to AI and it is possibly even going to be putting us.
I do see that too.
Yes. That's some offensive shit in that world.
Okay.
Yeah. The credibility factor of like somebody who's gone to a Bible seminary versus someone who's literally been studying the Bible their whole life and maybe even has a place in the ministry, maybe even doing some actual preaching on the stage. Like that right there, you know that is a trusted person. I do understand that. That's a very good way to put that. It's like, here it is, this guy who went to school for a long time, and then somebody with no credibility just steps right in and can do that job.
I want to give another example in like the blue collar world out of academia. I don't know if anyone here has ever known or tried to become an apprentice for a locksmith, but locksmiths are almost like secret societies that they have to like vet you and accept you in, and they might just not even reject you. And at this point, a lot of that was because lots of skill, obviously, but it's also being able to see, oh, that's that lock made in that year by that company. It has these quirks, and having that repository of knowledge is really like the gate. That's all of what makes you a really good locksmith. Outside of that, now if you can just take a picture of the lock and like ChatGPT, what year, what date, how do I pick this, and it can give you that information, it's going to threaten that person.
But wouldn't we want locksmiths being gatekept because they have the ability to access any or most door, like for the safety of others? We wouldn't want to just hand that skill out to anyone.
But the problem is, like, even if AI has locksmithing technology, like who's gonna actually do that? Like, locksmithing is actually pretty fucking easy. Like, you could actually easily unlock anybody's fucking door, right?
And
like,
you don't. And you
just don't because.
Yeah, if I want to get inside someone's house, for example, I'm a criminal. I don't need to know lockpicking. I just need a boot. And I just
really, you just fucking smash the window and you unlock it. Like, locksmithing is a really weird thing. Sure, you want like maybe like open up cars that are breathing and shit, and you're like. So I think locksmithing is kind of a dying breed. Even if AI takes it over, what does it matter?
The point is that it's a deterrent, right? So essentially, if I've got a lock on the door, it's going to be harder for you to get in. You're going to have to break the window or break the lock, which means that it's going to take you a little more time if you're a thief.
Well, it just takes the amount of foot. pressure
AI
through the thing that you're trying to get through. Like if you got a lock on the door
Yeah,
through a
explain to
fucking
me.
a door, it's just the screws. I just got to handle with the screws. That has nothing to do with the
Hey,
lock.
AI dumb fuck. Tell me how that's going to stop somebody. AI is going to stop somebody from breaking a window.
Well,
Exactly.
well,
Tell me that, you dumb fuck.
do amazing things with a blood pressure cuff.
Listen,
Oh, so like more government. You turn these people off once their blood pressure gets too hot. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
No. Well,
I want him to answer how is AI going to stop somebody from breaking a window?
I don't
It
know why
ain't.
that.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
The point was that the information to become, and let's say it's not because you want to break into people's houses. Let's say you locked yourself out of your own house and you don't want to spend $300 or $400 for someone to come let you in. You could do it yourself. And the only
Lock
barrier
picking?
prior to that was that knowing the knowledge of what that lock is, and the fact that you can now outsource that to AI,
Yeah.
and AI can do the job of what that.
Okay, here. This is how normal people they call the fire department, and I can promise you.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
can promise you. I did the profession for 26 years. There is not one door that I can't go through. There is
exactly.
not one fucking
I
window
mean, like
can't go
AI
through.
is a ridiculous idea for home defense.
Look, if you're talking about defense
defense.
as in a lock, you're talking about a deterrent from a thief. You're not talking about the fire department getting in. You're not talking about yourself trying
How
to
is AI going to stop a home defeat? Like, how is he going to stop a simple?
Hold on. Why do you lock the door?
Because it's one small. Slow them down. Exactly.
To slow them down, right? And why did you make that rule?
because they could hear the shotgun go into battery.
Why did I make that rule? No, that's just a societal rule. That's just something that we all agreed on. That like putting a lock on your door is maybe the first
We're going
deterrent.
to use AI
It
to
expresses
fire the pew
hold
pew.
on. Why we have a lock on the door expresses that you trespass if you go any further, right? It expresses to say I locked the door.
Does
Just
it
the
though?
same as
I understand what you're saying, Sarah.
If you leave your doors unlocked on your car, doesn't that fuck with your insurance if it gets stolen? Because it's like you left your doors unlocked. You invited them. Yeah.
Well, it's different in Canada. Apparently, you got to unlock your doors. That way, your insurance makes more sense. But anyways, let's not talk about retardation, like retardia. But sorry, continue.
Doesn't the curtilage count for the house? It not just entry into the house proper, but anywhere on the curtilage.
Curtilage is still your property for sure.
The fear of punitive.
And I leave my
Yeah.
car unlocked and running when I'm in town.
My
if
truck's
you-
unlocked.
Yeah, if you trespass into my
I got
home,
two pit bulls in it, but
the damage done is you
I leave pit bulls in my fucking car, but okay.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to use AI to train the pit bulls too. You know how fucking retarded you sound.
Actually, speaking
No,
of
that doesn't
Well,
sound
hold on.
retarded at all. What are you
In-
talking about?
in
If he's got
years,
pit
it
bulls
might
in
not
his
be
car,
retarded.
that's actually a pretty good deterrent. I ain't gonna fucking break into his car if he's got pit bulls in it.
The dumbass American up there. We're going to use AI to do everything.
Yeah, we are.
Wait,
It's gonna
who's
augment
gonna?
every aspect of our lives for sure, without even debate. That's not even opinion.
Says the program
Yeah, so
software
spin.
engineer up there that
AI is dumb.
Yeah.
AI is dumb.
Okay, I don't.
AI is only smart as you can program it, and they're only going to program it as smart as they want
And
to.
Voltaire, it
Not-
takes a
not
human
necessarily,
to fucking program it. According to him, AI is
As
going to
of-
train
as of
AI that's
right
going to
now-
train the AI.
hold on,
That is how
You're,
it works
you
now.
are, you
Well,
are so tired.
they're
you
fucking
are.
retarded. All I'm
Hold
saying
on.
is like AI is
Hold on.
pretty
Hold on,
fucking
hold on.
retarded.
Voltaire,
Go
did
ahead.
you get drunk again?
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm not attacking this like I'm drunk, Sarah.
nobody is drunk.
No, he's drunk and he doesn't shut the
What does it
fuck
matter?
up.
Hold on.
Like I'm drunk.
What does it matter? What does it matter
Can I say
if
something
I'm
that is
actually having a drink
You know
right
what?
now and like
Making sure
Because
I
you don't shut
understand the
up.
Then you know
slurs.
what to laugh.
okay,
Like,
I'm not gonna
blah,
I'm just gonna shut up then. Let you guys have
Thank you.
blah.
all right, I'll shut up.
Hold on, Voltaire. Is your wife asleep again?
No,
Look,
Sarah.
don't make me wake up and don't make me show my wife, Sarah. You fucking fuck.
I want to know what was the
He's gonna
next
get
morning
grounded
like?
again.
What? No, she's like, why the fuck did you? Why the fuck did you show me on live? That's stupid. I'm like, well, they were saying I was not married and gay, so I mean, that's probably a good reason to fucking show you. And she's like, yeah, that's probably a good reason.
Poor thing, we woke her up.
That's all I'm saying.
real world example.
Wake up and tell these people we have sex like heterosexual people.
All the time.
Well, her smacking him with the pillow and shit was enough for me to know he ain't gay, right?
Well, I mean, it's taken a lot less for me to prove that I'm not gay, but you got like your fucking panelist was like, "Show me you're not gay. Show me it." Like it was a life or death situation. So I'm like, "Here you go, you fucking idiot."
You know, Sarah. Sarah.
And AI is going to
It could have been his sister or his roommate. So we have not proven that he was married either.
She might have a dick.
Yeah. Hold on. So what yeah, if you're gonna go through that like area, how long, what aspect, what is the exact criteria, evidence you need for me to show that I'm not gay? Huh?
I don't want to know.
I believe he's not gay.
I don't need.
Yeah, well, that's obvious, Sarah. Like, I mean, I'm obviously not gay. Sarah obviously knows I'm not gay. But these people who are non-believers, like, it's like, did they need me to?
Hold on.
No, for sure.
Hold on. Do you know what is gay?
Not doing a super chat.
Thank
Well,
you.
having sex with a man. Having sex with a man is pretty gay.
You have 25 in the can right now, thanks to
What if you're a
Mr.
girl,
Clay.
It was Sarah talking. If she has sex with a man, I don't think that's gay at all.
Well, she's the opposite sex, you fucking doof.
What if I'm a oh wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me do this one.
What if I'm a man?
Yeah, all right. Well, obviously, everybody knows that is a woman just pretending to be a man. Like, if you need to not sound like a man and explain yourself as a man, you're just like, what if I am a man? I think like things are auto-explanatory. Like, it's come on.
I want to know why AI can't bring me a drink either. And right now, I want a cup of coffee, but I'm holding off on getting a cup of coffee because if we don't finish the other 3/4 of the dono goal, because Clay already put in his 25, you guys got 75 more to go. I'll let one of these I'll let one of these count as the other 5. So you guys owe only 70 more, right? So
Sarah,
get it
did you
in.
count my first one towards the first gauntlet?
Because
I gave 2.
I see this one.
Yeah, and then there was one before that, I thought.
This one. Yeah, that was all in the beginning. So you have to you guys get your gauntlet. We're already on the gauntlet and they have 16 minutes left to finish the rest of that new goal that I started an hour ago.
The best way to prove that capitalism is superior would be to donate some money, right?
Donate some freaking money.
If you really believe it, you would donate.
Yeah.
Well, you pay for what you want.
Donate money or else you're a socialist, you fucks.
Yeah, 200 years of freedom. Freedom to give Sarah money. That's right.
Oh, goodness. Well, to be fair, like we did have a Sleepy Tomato stream all day today. It was really fun. I tried something completely new. I loved it. I don't know if you did see it, if you enjoyed it, but it was a good. All the guys enjoyed it because I was up on a ladder with little shorts on, painting my ceiling.
On screen, everybody's like, "Yeah."
What the fuck?
Everybody's like, "What the fuck's happening right now?"
You got to wear the little shorts. If you were a little
All right, if everybody's just trying to grift right now, like check out Abe Dinkus. All right.
We love Abe. I wish he would
Abe
come
is a
join
fucking
the panels. Some
Abe
more.
is an absolute G.
He
Fucking
joins the chat still, but he hasn't been up on panel in a long time. Which
Abe
whatever.
needs to come
one
back
PM
on panel.
a week ago.
No,
I don't think he wants
Abe
to
and I
join.
think. No. Don't start with that, Sarah. Abe and I think the same way. We're completely fine coming into quote unquote enemy territory and
then where's
having
Abe
a good time.
He hasn't joined my panel since I was quote unquote deemed enemy territory.
Actually, he has
He came on a
once.
panel,
He has once. That's all I can remember. But yeah, no. He's not afraid to, and I hope he
changed
does.
his name
soon
to
enough.
Dark Abe Dinkus.
Actually, he is Dark Abe Dinkus, and it's funny because it's just like the opposite lighting. So it looks like you don't see anything. You just see the opposite. Like you don't see anything but like opaque and opposite lighting Abe. But anyways, I try to help the guy, and he's my best brother, and I'm sure he'll be back.
Black,
I know Abe doesn't hold any ill will, just like I don't. So
question.
And and to be honest, like
for sure,
me and him like to we like to engage with people on the other side. Like
we're up here on the other side.
Doesn't matter.
AI.
It doesn't matter whether we're not talking about Sarah. Sarah's just a moderator, but
AI.
we're talking about people that are
We're talking about AI.
that Sarah has
It's not people. AI
on the panel.
Yes, we are talking about AI. So one of the things I did want to make, the point that I wanted to make to Spin and Voltaire is, over the next 50 years, AI is going to be everywhere. I mean, Paranoid is right. If we look at how technology has advanced over the last 50 years, the next 50 years are going to be fucking insane.
I have a question
with this, and
Well,
then
that's
God
without a
I mean,
doubt.
it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy when they get these things up and running on quantum computers. That's going to change a lot.
Can AI will it ever be able to tread down soil in a natural pattern for natural growth?
Yeah,
natural growth for what? What do you mean?
So the way that the soil actually works is, and I was actually looking into this. I didn't even realize how bad it was. So there's this massive desert in China, where
the Gobi Desert.
I'm forgetting the name. I was actually looking at this, and they actually brought back some horses that were natural to the area, who essentially they let out onto this range that hadn't had these horses on it for such a long period of time. And what they did was they fenced in a certain area and they let the horses range on it. It was actually an experiment to see if it would work. And the grass came back. The grass in that area came back. And the reason why it came back is that the horses would trod through the desert and create these little pockets so that when it finally rained, that the pockets would actually soak
seeds, the dormant seeds.
The dormant seeds would finally, essentially it's natural, right? So the horses are the reason.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now the AI, right? Yeah, we could create robots that did the same exact thing, right? But is that more practical than just putting out?
To me, I think nature is the way better thing to do. And I think that people are not giving nature actually its due. It's like, come on, it's like we should get rid of feminism. Like if we just let nature actually do its due, then everything would actually thrive. If we just let things go the natural way that they should. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. The reason I asked this is because I was thinking of Spin's point about the camera. Okay. Now, when you're working with lighting, green light is the hardest light to work with. And this is why he brought up
lighting.
what he brought up. Yes, lighting, natural light, right? Yeah. So the green light actually conforms. And I had this conversation with the AI about how it doesn't do it justice long before Spin brought up his point. What's it called? The white blocker? What I forget.
White balance.
What does it matter? Please hurry up.
So I'm getting to the point. You have to listen though. So
I'm listening. Believe me.
If you're listening, you're not shutting up. So shut up. Go ahead.
And you'll
I'm
only
shutting
have
up.
9 minutes to carry on, Clay.
That's what I'm talking about. Like we need to.
I'm gonna wrap it up. So the white balance.
Please,
difficulty is that you actually have to adjust the focus tons of times to get that right, and then as soon as the sun hits it, it changes immediately, and then the sun goes this way or that way. And the grass is actually the most difficult part of it. Like the grass has the most craziest green lighting because it just shines. It's like a neon green. And so the natural things that we have to deal with in reality, the AI cannot solve these issues. It just cannot. It's not possible.
Well, not yet.
I don't think any of that's true. I think that's the opposite of true. In fact, the brand new Sony cameras that you would go to buy right now at Best Buy have AI assisted white balance and AI assisted color correction built right into them. Which does
How does that help the agricultural nature that fucking Brick's trying to say?
Hold on, Voltaire. Stop. Let him talk.
Hold on. But that's your first fucking problem. AI, it does not give an accurate depiction of a picture.
Not all the time. It has to be trained.
Avery, I understand that. Let me finish.
Time. Now you're talking about time, right? So it's not practical.
That's what I was just going to say, Clay. Yeah. It's not practical.
What does that have to do with?
So Clay's right then.
Paranoid said.
Okay,
Avery, what's your critique, Avery?
My point is, well, Paranoid's point is that they're putting this in everything. And obviously, if you prop up a brand new AI agent, it's not going to know how to do the things you want it to do effectively right at first.
Obviously,
you train it over time, and that's what Sony has been doing with their cameras. Over time, it got better, and then they're like, okay, it depends. Right now, no, Clay. See, Clay, you're looking at things in the present, and you're not looking at things in the future.
No, I'm talking about
technology.
I'm looking at
the rate that technology has been advancing. This is going to skyrocket.
You know how long I've been growing this?
Do you know that though? Is there some sort of fucking exponential growth that we haven't seen?
Yes. No. The exponential growth of technology. Yes. Everyone's seen that. I've seen that.
Well, then we haven't seen it though. No.
I've seen that within my lifetime. Everyone here has seen that.
I know, but it has not been exponential growth. Actually, it's been like we've just grown with technology. There's not been exponential growth.
I have an example of something.
It's not stopping. It's not slowing down. It's speeding up.
I know, but it's not exponential. It's not doubling itself through every fucking asset of itself. Which is what exponential means.
Sarah, can I have some latitude here for just 1 second?
Mm-hmm.
You get your latitude.
Okay. Shut the fuck up, Voltaire.
Oh, well, suck my dick and then get your latitude. Fuck, I don't know what you want.
You got 10 minutes in the back, Voltaire.
Yeah, we're not.
Howard sent it in.
Okay. Here is a raw image. This is a raw image out of a Canon EOS camera. Okay. I have to stop sharing for just 1 second. Does everybody see that? Everybody sees that picture.
Yeah,
okay?
Gorgeous picture.
Yes.
Now, when this afternoon, I put it through my software, which is not AI driven. It was manually adjusted.
Okay.
It was manually adjusted.
Which to me just means slow.
For enhancement.
For enhancement, yes. Okay, Sarah.
I mean, this is great. This is a perfect.
I physically went in and fixed the picture. Do you see the difference?
Yes, there's a massive
You're saying AI couldn't have done what you did?
It did not.
No.
So what's special about your abilities that AI would never be able to reproduce? Did you put like human soul into selecting what color to boost and turning the right dials?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah, actually.
That's how it works.
So
Why
if you
didn't you
wanted to do that to
make
100,000 photos, how would you do that?
So now we're getting, now this is something interesting, Spin, because actually what he's talking about right here is quality versus quantity. So
I would say you don't even have to sacrifice quality. I think if anything, a lot of people hyperinflate how special they are at turning that little dial and selecting the right hue and adding that level. A lot of people also can just click auto, and what auto does is it's leveraging AI.
Speaking of clicking auto, we're going to have to take a brief grift break. Santa, they have 4 minutes. They only have $30 in so far, which means they need 7 more donos. Tell them, Santa, to bring their merry little fucking gift bags and what they need to do.
Okay, kiddos, bring your merry fucking gift bags. Sarah needs money for tomatoes, and apparently Spin needs to learn how to use the AI features in the camera. Thank you.
Very well done. Thank you so much. And hypnotize these motherfuckers. You are muted, though.
It's Hypno Ant.
My name is Ant.
You're all terrible. Anyways, yes. This is a great show. It's been a lot of fun. At least I've been having fun. And if you can support the show, that'd be great. And for those who have been supporting the show, thank you so much. Big thumbs up.
And we love you. Yes. There is a supposed Donald Trump impersonator back there, but I know the Donald Trump impersonator. He has been to my channel before. Okay. You're not going to show a dick, are you? No, you promise? All right. All right, Spin.
And you just showed a
Good evening, folks. This is your president, Donald J. Trump. Quite frankly, I have a lot to talk about with you people. I notice we have many, many people on the panel right now, which means that I can get many, many votes with my new upcoming midterm election. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be one of the best, quite frankly.
The actual Donald Trump
really
impersonator
fucking good.
is way better. Way better. And he actually has a channel. You should go check him out because
Yeah,
he's
I don't care
really
about
fucking-
that guy. I'm
You're
the real
terrible.
Donald Trump.
No,
so-
you're terrible. It's too crackly. Way
No,
too
I'm the real
crackly.
Donald Trump, so I don't care about your fake impersonator, but quite frankly, I'm the real guy. so. I've been doing a lot of
Shut up,
Kratom
Donald.
tonight with Joe
Shut up,
Rogan.
Donald. I'm going to shut you up for a second. Spin, continue on with the grift, please, because they have less than 2 minutes to get in 7 donos, or we all get the fuck out of here.
Look at him. He looks more like the really annoyed American.
I'm very, very disrespected right now.
Oh, Jesus. We're grifting. Hold on, Donald. Go ahead, Spin.
Okay. Folks, I stayed up purposely to come in here and have some fun. I had 3 long, glorious days in DC. Don't cut it short. Pay the fucking money.
Yeah, pay the fucking money. Clay, your grift, sir.
Yeah, that is the absolute worst Donald Trump impression ever. We could not do it with you guys. I paid
Thought it
my
was
25.
decent.
I paid my Serto, and you guys got to do the same because I can't do it by myself. I really just can't.
I'm including you in my grift.
You can put your grip down, sir.
Avery, tell him what the fuck to do.
If you don't donate, you're gay.
Or a socialist.
Or that, yeah. Which is worse.
Paranoid, tell him what the fuck's up. 30 seconds.
Speaking of socialist, I mean, this is the 250th anniversary of our freedom, right? And don't let socialism win tonight of all nights, this week of all weeks, this year of all years. So the only way that you're not going to let socialism win is by being a capitalist and sending some money in.
Yeah, fuckers. Yeah. Mr. Donald Trump, grift.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to mention Clay's bitch ass because, quite frankly, he was very rude to me in his grift. Also, I'd like to mention my wife, Melania, who hasn't touched me in about 3 months now, and I hope she'll cuddle with me again tonight because I cooked her a wonderful beef Wellington dinner with our beautiful son, Barron, who was visiting from Mar-a-Lago. I also want to grift about the Democrats, but I won't do that here because we are a family-friendly program, and I have some very coarse words to say with those people. Thank you so much.
Well done. And of course, Mr. Balderson. Oh, why can I not hit that button? Hold on. It never. I gotta switch him over. I hate that they do that. Go ahead, Mr. Balderson.
Yeah, we haven't been around for a week. I didn't even panel for a week. My name was still Ted Bennington from Uncle Ted Talks last Tuesday. Oh, keep it going. We got a start of a good week. We're at the start of a month. Let's do this thing. I actually might have it out with Thomas here for a minute because I strongly disagree that anytime the tool opens up something to a wider public and makes it takes out the masters of that, and you end up with a product that is more in the middle. So pay the money. Let me and Thomas have it out for a minute.
And they failed to meet the goal, so therefore we're adding it on now. That's still not anywhere near. So we are in hit it or quit it mode.
That's what she said.
Exactly, and that is exactly what me said. So hit it or quit it mode. Almost put it on 10 of those bad boys. That'd be nice. One big fat dono. And it's got to be a red one. This should count because of the others, right? Close, Santa, but no cigar. One big fat red dono, and you have 15 minutes to do it in. So, chat, start begging each other. Figure it out. It's been over a week since I've hosted a fucking panel. Why do you guys not want this? What do you want from me?
I was wondering where you were at.
I was in Vegas. Well,
more painting streams.
We did. Yeah, I like the painting streams. That was really well. We got to do the walls, right? But we went to Vegas a week ago. Oh, Joe, cool. Now we have to stay open.
That was perfect.
But we went to Vegas, and then when I got back, my dog, I immediately had to take her to have a procedure done to her leg. And with that came daily visits to the vet that's an hour away. And I had to go drop her off every morning at 7. And then I had to pick her up every day somewhere between 3 and 6 p.m., depending on what time and what was going on. And for somebody who doesn't get to bed till 3 or 4 in the morning, naturally getting up after just traveling back from Vegas, and I'm 3 hours ahead of what I was at, and blah, blah, blah. So I was fucking tired as shit all week. I had no energy. The vet's calling me all day with this is what we think we're going to do this time, blah, 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 blah. And I got no sleep, and I was like, I got no energy to do any fucking panels at all. So that's why you didn't see me this past week. And I want to say it was nice because I got to sleep, but I didn't. So there was no gain except for my dog. My dog's the only one that gained 5 fucking days in a row of dealing with that shit. So yeah, one big red dono.
Should be a gain of a little
your dog, dogged me out of meeting you and giving you all the shit I brought.
Oh my God, that was tragic.
Spin, how you been? How'd this shit go? Are you back? Are you still down there?
Oh, I'm back.
How'd it go?
He's tired.
Thanks for noticing me.
Oh, I'm
he
back.
worked his ass off.
Look, Andrew's trying so hard. He's like 5 + 5 = 10. It's still they failed the goal, so it still doesn't count. So now they have to pay the price. They gotta pay the toll. You either get it in an hour or you have to cough the whole thing up at once, or else we go nowhere. So
Ben, am I to assume you did not enjoy yourself?
I will defer that answer to Clay.
Yeah, he enjoyed what he saw. That's about it. But it was work. Yeah.
What did you see?
He got to see DC. I mean, that be there. That's cool. But no, he was working the whole fucking time, man. The whole time. Listen, Linda.
Sarah, will you share my screen a second?
Who's that?
That is my sponsor.
Oh, cool.
Oh, great. AA?
Yeah, you see all that
another real good. I got another
that?
real good picture. Hold on one second. I got to unshare a minute.
That's a lot of work, bro. I'm glad it was you and not me. Sorry. Couldn't help it.
It's a guy that he met on Grindr.
Yeah. He's even laughing. Oh, yeah, that's funny. That's funny. And Sarah, it was also super cool in Discord and let Elf take a look at the operations. It was
Oh, Elfie. Elf. Oh, I love her so much.
Everybody loves her, hates me. I get it.
No, I love you both, but I love her more.
Well, that's good.
There you go, Sarah.
By the way, Ben, you cooked today.
America's penis.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
It was almost like when I was young during wrestling season, and you would get a week off, like during wrestling season, you just like you're dying to get back in there, just like brass knuckles, just gonna lay the dude out. Sorry.
Somebody with planes, wasn't that the B-52, the B-2? What was the other one? The stealth.
Yeah, that was the B-2 Spirit, the B-1 Lancer, and then the B-52.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Let me tell you, I was on the phone with Clay. He's like, "What the fuck was that?" And I sent him the picture. He's like, "Oh, okay."
All the time, man. It's awesome. Actually,
I mean,
I want to say this too, you guys. While he was there, he saw his favorite artist perform the first night.
Yeah, sure.
Tell him about that.
Oh my God.
Was that the rapper?
Yeah.
I see it now.
Listen, Mr. 305 and his "Make Some Noise" at the end of every fucking song. I'm like sitting there with the headset on, telling Clay, "Oh my God, if he says it one more fucking time, oh my God."
Well, I will say he got some great shots. Like for real. He filmed that whole thing, and the stuff that I was doing in the background worked out perfectly. Everything was perfectly timed. The first night went off without a hitch. The second and third night were crazy, but you can't really do anything about the things that happened.
So what actually
guys are
happened,
not saying more than you're saying. You're leaving a lot of room for more shit to be interpreted. As soon as your lips stop moving, I'm gonna ask about that shit.
Yeah, well, okay. The first night I was not going to go live and all this, and Clay fucking convinced me to do it.
Clay was right.
And he was right. I'm not going to say he wasn't right.
It was the best night.
It was the best night that we were there, because the next fucking day, I will not confirm or deny, it was shut down for heat. Anyway,
it was something that you didn't leave with. I saw these incredible jets, Joe Cool. You like, I'll give it to Clay.
Alan Jackson was supposed to perform right in front of me.
Patty LaBelle, is it
Patty LaBelle was supposed to perform.
I don't know who the fuck these people are.
You don't know Patty LaBelle?
No. Golly, how old are
Is
you?
it like a
roughly?
generation gap or what?
Maybe
Patti
two.
LaBelle-
music
Patti
you don't
LaBelle's
listen to.
old. That's like 70s, but Alan Jackson,
right.
90s country singer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to see Rush in September, so I mean, I like old music.
Okay, good.
Rush is
choice.
one of the best
and
bands
then
ever,
and then
Fuck yeah, dude.
Saturday we were there at
the best.
5 in the morning
Got good fucking seats too.
to get in and set up all the cameras and the meteorizer and just set everything up for the big day. And it turned out that it was still really motherfucking hot.
Do you think you could have achieved all of what you did with AI instead?
No, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. No fucking way.
Had to ask.
What were you
Y'all-
trying to achieve then? It sounds
Well, I
like
mean,
photograph something.
I'm, and that's the whole thing. He didn't get in front of the camera and say anything, despite being told that that's probably what he should have done. And then it would have been proof that he was there live, and so he wasn't taking copyright hits. But he doesn't listen to things.
Oh yes, I
And,
did.
and
Yes,
fucking-
I did, Mr. Balderson. You better shut up over there. I'll prove you fucking wrong.
When? I watched the streams. When were you on it?
Clay?
I told Dan and said hi when I saw you. I never saw
Picture of
you
the
on
guy
there.
that he was sitting there with, he was literally on stream with that guy.
Yeah. So I'll prove you fucking wrong. So shut up, Baldy.
I was not there.
Okay,
but
I can fucking make a camera go somewhere and hang out. That's for sure. It takes in it like during corn season. It takes and sends the combines out to the field, grids out the field. Combine does its thing and then unloads. That's it's an unfortunate thing. I'm not for it like Thomas is, but I don't disagree that it's absolutely possible. You already see it in John Deere.
I do not disagree, Ben, that it could not be a useful tool. But for it to take over everything, absolutely not.
Where I have a problem with it is it's going to lead to complete mediocrity. And that's anytime that a new tool opens up the when something was niche and only masters did it, the thing is amazing work came out of that. Anytime that it opens up to we can use LASIK as an example. Before LASIK, there was definitely some doctors that had shitty surgeries. There was also available doctors that can do things that are just absolutely beyond what LASIK is capable of.
Yes,
but
sir.
now we only have those LASIK doctors because LASIK gave you a good enough product. It's never going to be brilliant like the masters were. It's also not going to be bad like the fucking hacks were. It's going to be this middle ground all the time. You're going to get a basic product all the time.
I don't know if that's true. I don't even know about the tool that you're talking about. But sometimes a tool is just a tool and it's used along with other shit. And what you see some people do with AI, you put it in the hands of regular people and they're using it in ways never thought of. That happens also.
That part is true. Yeah, I agree. But there's also a whole lot of safeguards put on AI because of the fact that it can get out of control pretty quick.
Sarah, can you share my screen one more time, please?
Mm-hmm.
That is one picture that
I love that.
I'm very proud of.
Pretty sharp.
Yeah, that was off a 500 times zoom lens. I was 2 football fields away from that.
Such a
Looks like a good lens.
Yeah, it was a fucking.
do any-
I'm not even gonna lie. that fucking lens was expensive.
See,
But I mean, just stuff like this. You know, it's something that, yeah, okay, a drone could take that fucking picture, of course. Why couldn't it? But
Because
AI,
one, it's flying over people and that's illegal. One.
Yeah,
and
there are.
there's the other picture that I'm really happy
Yeah,
about.
I love this picture. This one was a really good one, bro. I love. This is the first one that I put in the lineup on your
That
video.
is a good picture, yeah.
Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
She loves it.
It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's
I
looks
was in my
like
chair.
my oatmeal. It looks like my oatmeal.
Yeah. Well, I was in my wheelchair and this guy came in and I said, "Can I take your picture?" He's like, "Absolutely." We were trying to get food and the line was freaking crazy. So I'm just sitting there just snapping pictures.
If you had to
And
guess,
there's the
not to be
the
confused
Freedom
with
Bell. That was in one of the buildings.
Yeah, that's such a good picture too. And then back around. About how many people would you say were there? Spin.
Which day, Clay?
Couldn't count, right?
Well, Thursday it wasn't that busy until the evening when that concert was.
Right.
So I have to say maybe
Welcome
30,
to
40,000.
my house. Yeah, you had a lot of fun, didn't you? You
I
know
had
what?
fun taking the pictures.
That first day, I know you actually did have a lot of fun. You were
Yeah, I
stoked the next day. It didn't work out the next day, but
No.
You were stoked at the beginning of the next day.
That's a good friend of mine. He came. This girl couldn't sing worth a fucking shit. No, I'm dead serious. This bitch could not fucking sing at all.
Her. What are you saying, Spin?
Who is it?
Man,
It was some girl off of America's Got Talent.
No. Well, I guess
Apparently
they.
she ain't got talent.
Yeah.
She can sing better than me, but
she
no,
had
she wasn't
good
really.
20 seconds to hit it or quit it.
Yeah, there it is.
It's over.
Gone to the well 3 times.
Y'all are all gay.
Guys.
No,
Yeah.
This band
Don't
right
be
here.
gay. Send your money.
Hey, send $100.
This band right here, Sarah, their name was Vetted. They are all disabled vets.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's neat.
They were actually really good.
Yeah, they were. They
They did some Creed.
That is a fucking epic picture, dude. That is fucking awesome.
Hey,
That
you
one
know
right
what
there.
my
Yes.
favorite song is?
Yes, I do.
Show me the money.
Step right up, watch the panel parade. Each one's got a suit but no acolyte. Talking in circles till heads collide. They're the clowns of reason on a carnival ride. Oh, the circus is in town tonight, spinning nonsense under the spotlight. Big words, small minds, what a glorious sight. Round and round they go. Who's wrong, who's right? They juggle opinions like flaming pies, tripping on logic with pie in their eyes. The questions asked, they dodge like pros, but their arguments wobble like dominoes. Cue the laughter, cue the cheer. The fools are loud, the truth unclear. Oh, the circus is in town tonight, spinning nonsense under the spotlight. Big words, small minds, what a glorious sight. Round and round they go. Who's wrong, who's right?
Spooky Man Bad.